to stand on it today.
Okay.
What up, y'all? It's Jeter.
Jeter.
Jeter. I guess I'm not Jeter anymore, though, huh?
You are.
Always.
Always?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look.
Okay.
First time I got married, I was like, Dana Woodruff. Okay. Second time I was about to get married,
Dana Woodruff.
Okay. That'll
If
never
I ever do it
change.
again, Dana Woodruff. Okay, thanks. Now that we have that,
always a McGinnis.
baby. One thing that ain't gonna change, that won't change.
I'll tell you today, y'all have some strong genes. That's how to post about your nephew.
Yeah.
Them genes are strong.
You look like me, Donnie.
Yeah.
I ain't see you, but
Happy
y'all sound
birthday,
like y'all lying.
Jakari. What?
Dave said he had the dope.
Knocking the door will be open.
Right, he is made. Okay.
I go
Let's
get
see.
him. Hold on.
Okay, I was gonna just do it right here. You know, you don't have to do that anymore.
Great.
Ooh, what's
You fancy.
Yeah, I want that. I want that out.
Get one of them for my heels.
Yeah, so welcome in everybody. Had to get those good evening greetings going. Get you in on the energy and how we're feeling. We're feeling great. Today is October 9th, the day before national holiday, better known as Woo Day. Tomorrow. So
I thought you was gonna say Columbus.
baby. No boy. What up?
Dave.
Hey,
What up,
Dave.
brother? So as you hear, Fly Dave just came in the building as well. So to everybody, welcome. Let me get my computer straight. Hey Ruby, how are you?
Where your hat? You always having a hat.
Man, it's been an eventful coming back.
Man, Dave, tell Candace to mind.
Mind your business.
First of all, what y'all not gonna do is attack me on
It's
this
okay.
on
No.
you know, live
Okay.
TV.
No,
Live radio.
I'm gonna tell y'all what it is.
on
As soon as we go
national
off the air.
radio.
Woo know what it is, don't
It has something to do with
you're not the right person in that seat.
Oh.
What you talking about, Dave?
We'll talk.
We'll talk. So look, we have special guests in studio. I know he is looking like, oh, what is going on? But he says he's here on Tuesdays already. So you kind of know the energy of the station, but you don't know the energy of Vital. So this is going to be really good. We have Boyd for Bama, Dr. Will Boyd for U.S. Senate. Now, this is important. We vote on November 8th. And I know a lot of people, for some reason, people seem to get tired of voting. It's like you vote one time, you think you've done enough forever. They voted for Obama, they thought it was over.
That's all. Ain't ever gotta vote
Like
again.
what? No, this is not how it go. I see that. I see you. All that. And I see them. I see what's happening here. That is not all you do. You have to vote every time it comes around. So on November 8th, we're voting again. And on November 8th, those are the primaries for like bigger elections. So you don't just vote for Obama. You don't just vote for Woodson. You have to continue to vote every time there's an election. So we have Boyd for Bama, U.S. Senate. So Dave, I'm gonna get you to swing your mic around so
Sure,
we can
sure.
start chatting you and Gito. Y'all share.
Well, whenever he comes in, they can share. Then me and Jeter can share. Whenever he gets here.
Okay. Look at her face. Let me give you a full screen because what are you doing? Let's go back to that before we talk to Dr. Boyd. Who is he? Okay. All right. That means we know.
Jeff.
All right. Okay.
It's Jeff.
Okay. So let's see. Let's get some facials on our guests. Let's see if we can see. I'm gonna share mine as well so that they can see who we're talking to. But I'd like to. There you go. Wave to the people.
Hello there.
All right. So Dr. Will Boyd, you are taking on a grand task. You are. And we need to know who you are so that we can get there's a different demographic of people that we speak to. And I don't know if those people are engaged or not anymore. So a big part of Vital was Vital Votes. And we did a lot of voter education, registration, information.
Thank you.
All of that. You're so welcome. We did it. And then it's like those people grew up and disengaged. So we
Yes.
want to talk to those people tonight.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
There are social media friends. They are people who are over the system, people who are, disengaged. So how did you get engaged? Tell us just about who you are, where you're from, what you do, why this, when, boom, like all of that. Let's
Boom,
go.
boom. Yeah.
Let's go.
Will Boyd from South Carolina. I've been engaged in the political process since college, really, when I was at USC, working on an engineering degree.
Okay.
I had the opportunity to work at the state capitol and serve then state representative at that time, and that got me engaged. But here in Alabama, I've served as a party chair, Democratic Executive Committee chair, also served as a state Democratic Executive Committee member. And most
Yes.
recently, I was the nominee for Lieutenant Governor in 2018. So Walt Maddox and I ran together. He, of course, is running for governor. I'm running for lieutenant governor. That all being said, we picked up about 660,000 votes.
Okay.
And so I appreciate all the work you all have done and continue to do. We need to do better, more, work together. One of the things I talk about when I'm on Tuesdays is that we have basically, we had a gap between Walt Maddox winning and Kay Ivey winning
Yeah.
of 327,000 votes, a little over that. We had 337,000 African Americans who didn't vote. On top of that, we have 324,000 African Americans who haven't voted in the last 3 election cycles.
See?
And then we have 150,000 African Americans who vote in presidentials but never in gubernatorials like
See?
this. So I can go through why people are disengaged, or the number of people disengaged, but for the most part, people feel like their voice isn't being heard.
Right.
So I'm running to be a voice for the people of Alabama.
We need that. We need a voice that sounds like ours. Now, let's go back to the basics of who you are. Like, I think that for us, we always connect with who people are before they blew up.
Before they blew up. Okay.
So before, like I said, you got your frat bracelet on. I read some stuff about you. So you had right. So you got to get into the culture. We have a segment on Vital called For the Culture, and I think that's where most of us connect, right?
For the culture.
So let's get into that part.
I was born in South Carolina, raised there. I went to the University of South Carolina. Again, picked up the engineering degree. Actually, the bracelet you see is actually me being a part of Omega Psi Phi fraternity. I would say the greatest fraternity, but a capo's over here. He might try to fight. But 1911 was a great year.
Okay.
So we're good. We Divine Nine Brothers.
Okay.
But that all being said, that's a little bit about me. On the other side, aside from being an engineer, elected official at one point in time, I also served as a bishop of churches worldwide. I served as a pastor of what will be on next Sunday, 163-year-old church. So I'm the 7th pastor in its history. I'm a person who's just been in the streets trying to help people, doing everything from helping the homeless, trying to make people help people find, of course, what they need to succeed. I've been a dean. I've been a professor of business and management on a college campus. Married to Delta Sigma Theta sisters. We've been married for about 25 years.
Okay.
We have 3 children. One is in college. Another daughter's junior in high school, Hoover High School. And a 9-year-old that I joke and say she's going on 29. So we bounce between Hoover and Florence, Alabama. And that's just about my story. I could tell you a whole lot more, but I'm just working hard to help people in Alabama.
That's what's up. Okay, that's
Is that too much?
No,
I'm sorry.
no, because look, sir, we go in.
We can't ever say we don't know him.
We don't know him.
Right.
And that's our thing. We got to know who we voting for.
Well, I'm Will, and I just want to be the voice. I hang out with union people on Wednesday nights. They've been on strike for almost 19 months, and again, we're just fighting to be a voice. I hang out with people who are fighting for change. We have a lot of women out there who are saying they want to have their voices being heard, especially with the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
Yep.
Women feel like they've been disengaged or forgotten. We have a lot of veterans out there who feel like they were forgotten as we were going through this issue with getting the PAC Act in place, where we, again, take care of people who've been affected by toxins, like my dad in Vietnam. He was exposed to Agent Orange and it's battled cancer because of it. So we have a lot of issues that are out there. And, I could run through what the top 10 issues are for Alabamians from a different generational perspective. But for the most part, the listeners that are here tonight, the vital message that they need to hear is that they're, number one, concerned with climate, number 2, debt, then social media. The economy is probably like number 5. And then you get into issues like racism and discrimination by polling. But I'm ready to tackle any issues that they want to talk to me about tonight.
Sir, let's go then. First and foremost, I like how you sound as opposed to the other person that's running. She's really direct and kind of scary. You're really easy to talk to, and we appreciate that.
Kind of perch like.
And I take you all everywhere. No, I'm just kidding.
Look, let me know where you want to go.
Hey.
But dang, this is refreshing. So let's go to you. Okay, this is so much we could talk about because we know what we've experienced as far as people that are being sent to Washington on our behalf and what that looks like. Right. So first of all, what it looks like. It doesn't look like a black man. Doesn't look like an educated black man that is a part of an organization that's a pastor that's, it doesn't look like that.
It doesn't look like that.
So
we need more diversity.
We absolutely do. So talking about that part of it from the beginning, what is it? I guess what does it say to you, or what was said to you, or what was shown to you that said, I think I want to go that route. I need to be in that space, as opposed to a county commissioner or?
I've served as a city council person. As a
Okay.
matter of fact, I was the first African American elected in my city in Illinois.
Okay.
Right after President Obama was elected, I was elected to my position. I think it kicked open the door. Many people told me that I could not win, and I put on some gym shoes one day, some sneakers, and I just walked to nearly every house in the city and knocked on doors. I was knocking on doors when it wasn't popular.
Okay.
And I ended up even going to people I was running against, or at least the homes where there were 2 open seats.
The addresses,
and
huh?
I went to the addresses where they had the sign of a competitor. And I said, when you go to vote for this particular person, vote for me also. And I would go to another person who was running. I say, when you vote for this person, vote for me also. And by the time people end up voting, you know what? They hung that election up so long that night. My wife and I were just waiting on listening to this little country music station, trying to see if we won the election. They didn't even call us until late. And finally, the mayor calls me after midnight and says, okay, you won, or something like that. It was very, hey, we did it. We
But you
kicked in the door.
won.
That's what we're doing in Alabama. Alabama, I would love to say we've made it, but we're still dealing with, in 2022, the fact that we have a Supreme Court that's entertaining a motion or entertaining the idea of whether or not congressional lines were drawn fairly or not.
Right.
We have an African American voice that's being diminished from 29% down to 14%. We wonder why we aren't engaged.
Right.
We have all kinds of issues, regressive grocery tax that affect mostly people who don't have a lot of disposable income. And we wonder, why aren't people engaged? We have about 40 million people who are affected by student loans, hundreds of thousands of people in Alabama who don't even know that they can be free from their student loans. And we're wondering, why aren't people free me? So we need people who will speak up and be a voice. I go down in Lowndes County, and you have to stop me, where we don't even have people who have septic tanks and sewage being dealt with properly. I know people are probably getting dinner and snacks right about now, but when a woman says she built a house brand new in 1987, and she's still today waiting to tap into a sewage system or a septic tank, something's wrong with that. That's where we are today. We have down in Mobile, where a chemical spill has not fully been addressed. We have Bishop Mountain, where they have no running water. I mean, this is Alabama 2022, and then we have issues dealing with voting rights. Please, I would love to talk about all the issues. But
we live here, so we live it and see it every day. So
every
we
day.
just like,
Every
What are
day.
some issues that you all can think of? Well, first of all, before we get into the issues, what does the seat, like being a U.S. senator, what are you responsible for? What do you do?
There are 100 senators in the United States at one given time, 2 per state, and they primarily are giving advice and consent to the president. So nominations such as the one we just saw with Ketanji Jackson, those going through the Senate is an important role. In addition to that, they assist with, of course, legislation going through what we call Congress, which is made up of both houses, the U.S. House of Representatives and the United States Senate. So those are the main roles. You see them pushing for bills and laws like we saw recently with CHIPS, with the PACT Act, and others. What I would like to see a senator do from Alabama is make sure issues like the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and others finally get out of being hung up in Congress and get into a law so that we can have less voter suppression on days like November 8th.
Right. Okay. So that's what those, y'all remember that? Did you remember that from school? Do you get two senators from each state? They go to where you work in Congress or Capitol? Where you,
there you go.
there you go. Where's that? Where's the office? Wherever your office is, and you do your work for your state. You rep for the state. So right now it's Tuberville and who?
Tuberville and who? Senator Shelby is finishing up his long term of service, if you call that, and going back to the House. So this is an open seat. So this is a unique opportunity. This is not me fighting an incumbent. This is an open seat. And I have a Republican who does not have as much enthusiasm. If I come back into enthusiasm for your listeners, that's very important. Enthusiasm is good, but she doesn't have as much enthusiasm on her side because of all that's going on. The January 6th hearings, we have the issues relating to people dealing with an insurrection, denying whether an election actually took place that was legitimate. We can go on and on and on, and then whether or not documents can be held and classified if you just look at them or think on them, declassified. We have all that going on. With that being said, she also has an opponent who's a libertarian who tends to lean towards caucusing with Republican and the Republican writing candidate. So at the end of the day, when you look at Democrats not being splintered, sticking together, showing up to vote, we can win this election and see change in Alabama. But we have to show up and vote.
We have to vote. November 8th is when you can do that. Boyd for Bama. Dr. Will Boyd for U.S. Senate. You can check out his website at www.drwillboyd.com. So in studio, the illustrious crew is here, and they live in Alabama too. So I know y'all know like what's going on here, what you've seen Colonel K doing, like different things like that. What type of leadership is needed? Who needs to represent for us in the state? So what issues can you all see that Dr. Boyd would need to take to Washington to address, or like what needs to happen? What comes to mind for you living here based on some of what he said, and then just some of what you live every day?
Well, let me ask. I want to ask this question. Two things. Why do you think we don't see a lot more younger people in politics fighting for the state? That's one question. And number two is, and I don't know how important this will be, but it's a question. I lived in Atlanta for a long time, and I saw what the lottery did for Georgia, with kids being able to go to school free, from I think daycare and things of that nature, and helping with food and groceries and things like that. But they say let the people decide. But if we let the people of Alabama decide, then I think you would have that. So what's the holdup? Number one, why don't you see any more younger people trying to hang seats around the state, the city, and about the lottery?
I believe young people are, as we said earlier, for the most part, becoming disinterested, disengaged because they don't like what they see. Why would you run for office if you're going to just get beat up along the way, and then you feel like you really can't affect change? Right now, we're seeing where a YouTuber or a social media influencer has more power than a person who actually has a title.
Right.
So if I can do that and make more money, that's the way I'm going to go. Number one, I'd also say that a lot of senior political people probably need to learn how to give up the seat when they realize their time is up. A lot of people just want to hold on to that power. They get it in their blood and their veins, and they want to let it quit. Regarding the second question, we have to make sure that I believe, have an educational lottery in Alabama. We need to fully fund not only, as you mentioned, preschools, but pre-K, go through secondary, primary learning, in reverse order, of course, and then get into HBCUs being fully funded, receiving the money they need to support. And we've seen that in this administration already. But we also need to see better options for unions, our blue collar workers, dual enrollment from high school to the blue collar work, et cetera. So the educational lottery should be like we see for Tennessee or Georgia, any other contiguous state. We need to see where our kids can have a fair shot at achieving. Right now, they don't have that. Right. If a kid can't go to get high quality pre-K, they're already starting off on the wrong foot. From the 4 to 5 year old, and I know from a mental health point of view and your training and education and masters, the 45-year period is when the brain is really developing at a high rate, so to speak, making it very plain. And if we in Alabama don't fully fund that high quality pre-K, we're starting off bad. Frederick Douglass, you all know the quote. In Alabama, we tend to put the ambulance, in my mind, at the bottom of the cliff rather than putting up the guy rail at the top. Instead of saying, hey, let's start off and educate so that we have to repair broken men and women later on, we spend our time just building prisons and incarcerating and making sure we put people in these situations. So that's where the money has to be up front rather than the back end.
Okay. So being preventive, being proactive as opposed to reactive, as we've seen. Jeter, what you got?
Nothing really. I was watching the news, so shout out to Sheila Tyson. I think that you guys said something about the numbers as it relates to people voting. But Sheila Tyson is trying to implement Saturday voting. I think that would be really good. I know that we're going to miss it this go round. But hopefully moving forward, it'll be something that'll roll out. I think that people will be more engaged if that's an opportunity that's put on the table.
Absolutely.
For whatever reason, I just feel like more people will be involved that they can actually get out on a day where they don't really have much of anything else going on.
Right.
Because it's rare that you find a place that places will let you off to go vote, but they're not going to pay you to go while you're on. They won't let you stay on the clock. So do I miss money to go vote?
legally you get an hour to vote. You get 2? I know
get
1
2
for
Yeah,
sure.
hours.
you get it, but do you get paid for that time?
It's legal. Yeah.
I've never gotten paid for it.
So look, there's states like Oregon where
You should
they
sue.
mail you the ballot,
you know
tell
I
you who's
sue.
on the ballot, and all you do is you mail it back in. It's that easy. It doesn't have to be this complicated.
Okay.
If we have these voting rights in place, you can have the early voting, the Saturday voting, the curbside voting. People can basically
like
roll right up
curbside.
and get whatever
We
they
blocked
need.
curbside voting, right? Is that still an option here? I thought it was blocked. No.
That's what I'm getting at. We need all that in
Yeah,
place, and that's what
right.
these new laws would do for us. Right now, we're struggling with voter ID complications. We're struggling with voter suppression. We have polling places changing.
Right. And
We have where
that's
people
a
don't even
big
know
thing.
where to vote.
That's a really
Right.
big
It's
thing.
a lot of stuff going on that suppresses people, and we wonder why they don't get out to vote. So
Because
these are
nobody
the
want to
things-
go through the hustle,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
the hassle.
Well, people
of it
were
all.
excited about voting on Saturday, as you mentioned, and then when it was shot down, and the split, which people voted it
Mhm.
down. People were discouraged. People were calling me saying, "You need to go live. You need to go and do an interview on the steps. You need to let everybody know." We're ready to camp out all night long and prove this issue how important it is. So people are ready to vote, but they get discouraged whenever we have these things come up.
Yeah.
But I think the hassle was created for discouragement.
Sure, absolutely.
I tried to vote this last go round, and because my wife and I moved,
Mm-hmm.
I went to my new polling place, and when I got there, they didn't have my name on roll.
So could you vote at the old one?
When I went back to the old place, because it's so far away from where we moved, it was closing time.
We experienced that also.
But I went to my first place.
How the guest gonna go out?
Right,
That's a servant. That's a servant. Look, let me tell y'all something.
She said, y'all ain't gonna have that man standing out here in Ensign. He know what he is.
Have y'all candles.
Let me tell y'all something. Our guest just got up to let our crew member in. Dr. Boyd. Let me tell you something about what just happened.
Chuck was
He got
late.
my vote.
Right. That type of stuff right there. Like, you're our guest. You got up to go let our crew member in the middle of your interview. That's votable. That's a public servant, ain't it? Let's get us some claps.
You should have been on time.
Servant leader.
For real. Okay, so yeah, we'll
No, sir. Please,
because I want to talk about it.
now they about to fight about the chair. This is just really good tonight.
Please, we're good.
Look at this. It's just great. Love to see Black brothers doing great.
So both y'all just gonna stand up and post up on the chair.
Please rest.
Y'all, the action in the studio is
Hey, man,
always
you
really
running.
good.
You need to sit down sometime. boss.
I mean, this is interesting. Hey, we're gonna take a break. We'll be right back. More with Dr. Will Boyd for U.S. Senate. Y'all, great interview. A lot of information that is going to be shared. So keep it locked right here to V94.9 WATV. Where on Sunday nights the V stands for vital. Now he's getting his own show. Lord have mercy.
What's cracking?
That's the seat. Divine.
Like the
We're back. It's
Divine Nine, that's what
B94.9
I'm talking about.
WATV. Dr. Will Boyd is in studio, y'all. This has been eventful already, so I can only imagine what it'll be like once we get him in and really can bring you back to have conversations about what's happening. Welcome back to Vital. If you're just coming in, welcome in. Where have you been? We start at 7 every Sunday night right here on the V. Tonight, I'm trying to fill a
Oh, I
U.S.
felt
Senate.
like you weren't talking about me, were you?
No, not at
Okay,
all.
not
Hey,
this
Chuck.
time. Hey, okay. Thought I was in trouble again.
You always in trouble.
That's
No, hey. Welcome in. It's been a big weekend. I mean, I'm happy to see you. I didn't know what was gonna happen with you. Party Rock has been rocking everywhere. So yeah, we'll do that too. At the celebration, we'll have the Party Rockers, Chuck a DJ, our host. They're gonna host and do some stuff too. So yeah, Vital has to be there. All right. So
I
let's
ain't
get
playing
back
the
to the
Tommy
business.
Dog though. You ain't gonna mess up the whole spot.
So look, let's talk about this whole U.S. Senate. Like, I think when people understand what the seat, like what you do in the position, they are more prone to want to, okay, we need you there. So we know we have Congress people like Congresswoman Terry Sewell, who also represents a part of the state. But the two senators that you have to represent your state, well, like, tell us about that, like what that relationship looks like and what you do as opposed to what she does.
So there's 7 congressional districts.
Yep.
A congressional district is probably about 600,000 plus people in a district. Should have been more, right? But a senator is actually representing the whole state. So you have 2, and their primary jobs is to be there for all people, all districts, all state. It surprises me every time I say I'm running for U.S. Senate. People say, "What district? What counties?" And it's the whole state. So I'll be able to go to work for you no matter what area you're in. So a senator can actually address legislation, laws that need to be in place. I talked about Lowndes County earlier, and one of the things that I say publicly and regularly is a senator can vote as to what Congress is going to do as it relates to money and legislation. So I hate the fact that we can send money to different countries in minutes, but when we have our own struggles, like the sewage issues again in Lowndes County, it takes years to get it fixed. So a senator can actually fight to make sure that legislation is in place. You can see the PACT Act, as I said earlier, protecting veterans. The CHIPS Act is making sure that there are semiconductors that are there so that we don't find ourselves stranded waiting on chips to come across on boats and containers.
Yeah.
I could go on, but these are the laws that senators would have some decision-making process dealing with.
We got to get equipped, educated people in these spaces. People that, and this is no shade to anyone that just so happened to fall in a seat, but people that have like dedicated their studies and their, like the whole situation. I don't just want you to be coaching one day and the next day you ripping for the whole state, not even knowing what the hell is going on. So equipped, educated, right? What are some of the things that you want to see and that you plan to do?
Well, one of the things that President Biden has been doing is trying to grow the economy from the middle out, from the ground up, as opposed to people on the other side of the aisle who talk about a trickle-down economic policy.
Because it ain't trickling nowhere.
It's not trickling down. We need people to infuse money at the local levels, make sure discretionary money or spending money is available so people like us can actually do what we need to do. So again, a senator can actually make sure he or she represents you and your needs, the needs of every constituent in the state. And that's what I'm trying to do. I've talked from an economic standpoint about making sure they're not just jobs, but good paying jobs. I mean, we have a lot of people right now who are hearing that there are 2 jobs available for every person looking. Well, if both of those jobs are at the local fast food restaurant and you're a single mom and you have daycare that has to be paid for, and you're working the first 3 days just to pay for the rent and the mortgage, the last 2 days to pay for the gas, you don't have any disposable income. So you need somebody who's going to fight to make sure they're good paying jobs and not just companies coming in, planning a company, getting the benefits of tax increment financing, and then leaving in 4, 5, 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
On an educational point of view, you want to see a Student Success Act in place. It used to be a dean and a professor. We talked about the idea of an educational lottery, but we need somebody who's going to make sure that the schools in the Black Belt look like the schools in Mountain Brook. We need to make sure that there's educational equity that exists there.
Schools in the city look like like
come on
around the corner. Okay,
that's what we need. From a healthcare point of view, you all would be discouraged and even angry if you had to see the kind of things I see. in one of the counties I was in earlier, not far from it, they don't even have a regional hospital.
Mm.
I talk about Pickens County. If you get hurt in Pickens County, you have to drive 51 minutes to Tuscaloosa.
Oh, I done died by
There was a
now.
kid who had a dog that got loose from somebody else's home a week or so ago,
Mhm.
crushed the kid's head. He lost an eye.
Mm.
And the ambulance, if ambulance drove out of Tuscaloosa, 51 minutes there, 51 minutes back, they had to put him in a car. He lost his eye. He's probably going to suffer brain damage, traumatic brain injury, and probably even PTSD, right, from what
Oh,
he
for
went
sure.
through. And he's back home now. He's back home now because part of the issue is not having enough money to stay in the hospital and receive the care he needs. This is unbelievable in 2022.
Yeah.
So we need health care that is not only affordable but accessible to everybody. We need a regional hospital in every county. There are many counties that don't have hospitals there. And again, why can we send billions abroad to buy weapons or anything that's needed?
Mhm.
But we, as one preacher would say, can't even get water to Flint in minutes.
Right.
Can't get
Right.
hospitals in areas for years. Something is wrong with this program. So that's education, that's economy, that's healthcare. Women's issues are important right now. With the overturning of Roe v. Wade, we've seen where there are really about 50,000 plus women who've jumped out and decided they want to vote for the first time because now they see where the government is not giving them the chance to make their own health care decisions. Now, whether you're pro-life, pro-choice, pro-birth, or whatever you want to call yourself,
Right.
pro whatever, if you're a woman, you ought to be concerned when the government wants to tell you what to do
Absolutely.
instead of you doing that yourself. Then these are issues that we have to address. The biggest thing for me, I think that I go all over the state every day, everywhere. Mental health always creeps to the top.
For sure.
Mental health, no matter whether you're senior citizen or especially young people, more young people, high school, college age, are dealing with mental health issues. We have to have this.
Mhm.
Voting rights is important. We've already touched on that, but in all of this, even the prison population is important. Have you all seen what's going on in the Alabama prison systems, Alabama Department of Corrections? Costello, Demetrius, Vaughn, and how we have people who are sick not getting the treatment that they need, and how we have a fourfold increase since 1970 of people in prison in America, and how we have since 1983 149% increase in people in prison in Alabama. We wonder why in the world we have the problems we have. Maybe if we address mental health in the prison system and move some of these people out who don't need to be there in the first place. Maybe if we see more President Biden's programs like releasing people who have dealt with the issues of perhaps marijuana
Mhm.
and being incarcerated, let some of those people go.
Oh, you preaching now?
Let me.
Oh, okay.
I was just.
Oh,
gonna
you
say-
preaching?
I was just going to say let freedom reign because he was on a roll.
There's some. You about to see me put my finger in my ear. I need my
Oh.
wife to get on the organ, and we'll be all right.
The organ music in.
Lady Wu, you on the board. You got it. But these are things that are important. So my young brothers and sisters, if you want change, I know it's easy to sit at home and say, it's not going to work the old way. I need you to give me a chance. There's some good people on the ballot. We need your help. And if we can get on there, I believe we can turn Alabama around and we can give you the opportunity. I don't even want to be there 20, 30, 15 years. Give me 6 years.
Okay.
That's what a senator's term is, 6 years. 6 years. And I can go and I believe I can make some change. And 6 or 12 years, I'm out of there. That's all I need.
All right. Well. So we talked about he's talked about some hot button issues that we often hear about and that everybody's talking about. I got a few taboo topics, but Chuck, you got some things you want to talk about?
You mentioned Medicare expansion.
Not yet. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Or the lack thereof.
The lack thereof. Usually in Alabama, when we talk about Medicare, Medicaid, it's usually the state offices or constitutional offices that are addressing it, the governor, lieutenant governor,
Yeah.
et cetera. But we need Medicaid to be expanded in Alabama.
Yeah.
There are about 800,000 people in poverty. We talked about congressional districts earlier,
Right.
like Terry Sewell's congressional district.
And they ain't all black.
They're not, which is
right.
Think that through.
Which people tend to believe if we
Yes,
expand Medicaid, we're
yes.
helping African American people, but it's actually opposite.
Right.
We're helping more Caucasian people.
Come on.
And so people always try to make this about us wanting something else. Matter of fact, if you get a chance, listen to what soon to be the senior senator from Alabama, said recently about people that look like perhaps me and you, and maybe you'll decide to get out and vote on November 8th. I'm gonna leave that alone.
I think we got that coming up.
Last day to register to vote is October 24th, folks. Get your registrations in.
Yep.
We need your help.
So this Medicaid expansion, and then the taboo topic that I think that has come up a lot in this race is transgender youth and how they're being treated and mistreated as well. Would you care to say anything about that?
We have a double standard in Alabama. You know, one of the things I talk about with education is that we have basically our budget breaks down to the educational trust fund and the general fund. And when you look at the educational fund, I always talk about how we rate it and we should not. That aside, when you look at public versus private schools, people are often arguing that they don't like private schools or voucher systems because they tend to pull money from public schools, and then the public schools fail and crumble. But it's interesting in Alabama when a group of people who have a different lifestyle, LGBTQIA plus, may have decided to go in a different direction and chose to have a private school. Those people were targeted in the last primary that we had. So it's interesting. We have this nativism type of approach in Alabama. If you don't look like me, talk like me, think what I think, then even though you think you're following the same system, you're not. We're going to figure out a way to pull you out of it. So that private school was hit in a different way. Mentally, some of those people are still struggling today.
Absolutely.
So we have to not only see changes here in Alabama where we are less of a hate state, but we have to also see changes like, we talk about the Voting Rights Act, but Civil Rights Act, from that perspective, add LGBTQIA to the protected class status. So these are things that have to be done. You know, people get into transgender issues, and I tell people all the time, you know my state as a bishop, as a pastor, what I think about life, about marriage, etc. But I always find it interesting. People hate these issues until their daughter or granddaughter's dealing with it.
Okay.
Until their granddaughter is crying because she's struggling. If we just had more compassion, and I'm going to bring in Jesus for a minute, but if we had more compassion as Jesus would, and try to love on everybody as they are dealing with or adjusting to or just going through life from a behavioral, mental point of view, whatever it may be, I think the world would be a better place. Everybody's not going to look the same, talk the same. And who are we to be judges? Our job is to fight for every Alabamian to have a shot at the American dream.
All right. In studio, do y'all have anything, any questions, any thoughts, any feelings that you want to ask Dr. Boyd, or anything that you can think about that needs to be addressed about the U.S. Senate? I know later on in the show, we're going to talk about some statements from Tuberville and some things that he said at a Trump rally. We're going to get into that. We may have time to get into that. Some other things, but like when it comes to what Dr. Boyd can rep for Alabama for, anything that comes to mind for you?
We can't talk about Senator Tuberville now. I don't know what he said.
Sure. Well, okay, so that means I got to pull it up and play it. So
I don't know what he said. I don't know what he said.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull it up first, Chuck. So let's hold off on that.
Okay.
Anything else, and then I'm gonna open the phone line.
Where your bow tie at, brother?
I've already come out of a suit today.
Okay.
Had changed. I did an event in Fayette County, so
okay.
I spared you all the bow tie.
Well, I mean, I appreciate people who wear a proper tie. I wear a proper tie.
Oh my
every day,
goodness gracious!
At my day job.
Look at play.
What's wrong? Hey, well, those are weird people.
Oh boy, 994-8949 is the number. 994-8949 is the number.
It's gonna be lit.
If you would like to get in
What's gonna be lit?
on the conversation with our candidate, Dr. Will Boyd for U.S. Senate. I think something interesting though is that you've lived in other places but decided to get in an Alabama Senate seat. Like for a long time, people would ask, "Where you from?" And I'm like, Birmingham. Like I would say Birmingham first, but I'm not Alabama. Like who says that? So go places Black and I went in college. People were like, "Where y'all from?" Birmingham. We never said Alabama, and that's different because like people would say, "Well, I'm from Cali." They would be from ATL. They would be, they would say where they were from. Yeah, well, yeah, Cali's a state, but we would say Birmingham. No, we didn't say we're from Alabama.
Me and Fly Dave talked about this. Don't nobody Georgia being behind Atlanta don't stop nobody from going to Atlanta.
This is true, But Dave, when you were in school, where were you from?
Oh, okay. All right.
Where were you from?
From Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, you said Birmingham, Alabama.
No, from Birmingham. I'm just saying that's where I'm from. Birmingham. I
Right.
But we didn't say
We wanted
Birmingham,
to-
Alabama. We
Nah,
said
Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Like you don't say, even though we were at Alabama State, like
Yeah,
you don't
you,
say
Birmingham.
that.
Everybody was happy to be from Birmingham. You didn't even want. You didn't even want a 2 or 3 on your tag. You wanted
No,
a
I want
1.
one.
Right.
Birmingham.
So right, like it's that serious. So for you to say, yeah, I'm gonna be a senator for Alabama, like in not being an original Alabamian. So tell me about that part. Like is it because of the voids, because of the deficits, because of the slowness, like, and you feel like you can really like get in here and shake
There was
stuff
a
up?
gentleman whose last name was King, who I don't believe was necessarily from Alabama, but
True.
but he came in and he affected change. I believe you can have people sent in to do great things. I
Okay.
believe Alabama is poised and ready for change, but it takes some people stepping up. So no, Alabama by the numbers. I keep saying this, and I know you're not necessarily leaning in a partisan direction tonight, but by the numbers, we are a blue state.
Okay.
We just need more people to show up and vote.
Okay.
By the
Now that's-
numbers, when I ran, I received 660,012 votes for lieutenant governor. If those showed up, plus the 50,000 plus women who just signed up show up, I could keep stacking it up. But there are a lot of people that we've targeted. I said the 324, the 337, the 150. If you just took 100,000 of those different groups, we're already over our win number. We're over the top. So we can win this easily if everybody shows up.
I want to talk
Alabama
about
is
that
ready
too.
for change.
Alabama, not just Birmingham, but the whole state is
The
ready for
whole
change.
state.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. Caller, you're in with Vital on V94.9 WATV. What's your comment, question, suggestion? What you think about?
I do have a question for our candidate. Hello, my name is LaShawn.
Hello.
And my concern is not just encouraging people to come out and vote, but help them to understand what your position actually really does throughout your campaign messages. So they'll know, okay, well, so this is what he's in control of. Because in most cases, people are not told, they're not reminded, I'll put it that way, what the Senate does. They don't understand the different branches of the state government. It's a lot. So little tidbits and hints could encourage you, so if I vote for you on this, that means that this part right here will affect me. They don't understand it.
Right, and that's why I always
and
say
they
we
don't
look for
play
that.
the same thing like they used to play on Channel 10, the public broadcasting company. They used to tell you, what a bill was and a few other things.
Thank you so much for that. And that is why we always are very clear on like, hey, so what is this? What do you do? What are you responsible for? So I appreciate that call.
And that's why I said nominations is part of the process, because we're talking about the Supreme Court now making a decision again about congressional lines. A senator votes on a nomination, and that the president makes. So if you want to know something, from a plain, simple point of view, you want to know how many judges or justices are on a court. This is what senators do. They vote on them. They vote on nominations for other positions, ambassadors, etc. So these are serious roles that senators play.
And let's go to the phone lines when we come back, Chuck. Caller, you're in with Vital. Yep. What's up?
Hey, woo woo.
Hey. Courtney, how are you? How are you? Hello. Hello. All right. We tried it.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you now.
Okay. I want to ask Dr. Boyd, it was containing when he was on with Chris, when he continued discussing about the amendments.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. About the amendments.
Okay.
Yes, because of that
I'm sorry. Go ahead. What question do you have about the amendments?
About the amendments, because when you was
are you saying you want me to go through all 10 of the
no
amendments?
No
amendments right now? Is that what you're saying?
No, sir. What I'm saying is that when you came back on Chris, you was going to do the second part of the amendments from 6 to 10.
Right. The problem we had is there's some other issues that came up, but as it related to the Sixth Amendment,
6 to 10.
Talk about the city and what it received in terms of funding in the state. Amendment 7, I was going to talk about oversight as it related to preventing corruption and protecting communities. When I go back on Amendment 8, I'm going to talk about, of course, that involves Shelby County and their lakes and state parks. My general feeling about these last amendments, even 9 that relates to city issues, if you don't live in that county, you might not want to vote on it because you might not be informed or know what's going on in Shelby County if you're in Jefferson County. Now, if you're an informed voter, vote if you know what's needed. But I've never been a fan of people in different counties voting for something in some other county.
Right, because we get to the poll and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Who? Let me just do this.
These are
Let me just say
statewide
yes.
amendments, but
Right?
that's the way it is. The important thing to know about this particular ballot is that as it relates to the amendments, and I want to call it, no, we will go back to it. He was asking about, and I'm pulling up a snapshot right now. Amendment 7. These are so long; they're written purposely so people are not able to walk through it. But my 7, 8, and 9 would be a yes vote if I were voting. So you want to revise Amendment 772, basically to provide economic and industrial development. Yes. Statewide Amendment number 8. Relating to Shelby County, proposing amendment to the Constitution to bring privately owned sewer systems to the use of public rights right away, yes. And of course, Jefferson County and Tuscaloosa County, number 9, almost the same one, same wording, proposing that public right-of-ways be there, yes. And then we'll go to 10, and that's just proposing amendment to the Constitution, basically to authorize the code commissioner to adjust. As we mentioned with Amendment 1, that's a yes also. So if you're keeping track, I'll go back, not this Tuesday because I'm in Escambia County, but maybe next Tuesday I'll tackle the rest of those amendments for you.
All right, we appreciate that. Thank you, Courtney, for letting us know that was happening, because you do run into that in the poll. Like, man, what are they? What? Yes or no? Like, you just go in there and just vote for something, not knowing who's affected by it, how they're affected by it, what it's about. So that's good.
But this one of the more important things about this amendment is removing racist language from the Constitution that was written. I know we talk about 1901.
The longest, the most ridiculous one.
Come on. There's some stuff still in it that needs to be removed. So that's an important thing to have removed.
What are y'all doing?
It's cold in here. Snatching fingernails. And
wait a minute, Dave. What are you doing?
What? Help me put my coat on.
Chuck, help us out.
Nah.
I can't stand you.
Alabama has the longest constitution in the world, not just in the United States.
The world.
297 amendments, I think.
Like, who does? Like, and then it's some that are so ridiculous. So
there's still laws on the books about horses and carriages.
Where were we?
Miscegenation.
Oh, was it somebody?
Miscegenation.
Yes.
Interracial marriage.
Who was that with us? Wasn't it on the air?
Yeah, I went through some of the laws.
Yes, the stupid. Can we be on the team with you to go in and read it?
That's soon to be Senator Coleman did that. So.
Yeah, we want to be on the team to rewrite it. Give me a big eraser.
I think it'll be.
What is going on?
I think it'll be real cool. I know you're doing the amendments like that, but if you came back like closer to voting time and just said Amendment 1, yes. Amendment 2, no. Like a cheat sheet for real, because we be at the polls looking
like,
yes,
because I don't know what it's the name my business. So no,
I don't even put all that on there. Just get a blank paper and have 1 through 10. Yes, no, yes, whatever's affected.
Because it's 10 of them, and what?
And we be sitting there. I know I be reading that fine print, and I be like,
People have some different opinions, though. There's one amendment that deals with whether or not orphans should be pulled out of the probate's responsibilities. And if you talk to some people that say, with the number of orphans that we have, especially the number of orphans which are BIPOC, you don't want to pull that away from the probate judge. And then others might say, pull it out.
They're BIPOC and you pull it.
I'm sorry, Black, Indigenous people of color.
Okay.
I'm just trying to be, like the crowd.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, I can say Black. But there is a concern that the people of color would be left out, and basically a probate judge is someone who deals with an estate after someone's died.
Right.
So when you have orphans and they don't have anybody to go to, they're losing that probate judge helping them. Well, how do they
So they
claim
won't
what
be able
belongs
to,
them?
and then they won't be able to continue to
Yeah.
thrive.
So people have there you go, failure to thrive, just like
Wow.
a OBGYN term.
And
Exactly.
this is on the ballot
It's
for
on the
November
ballot.
8th.
It's on the ballot.
See how, Courtney, did you hear that? So the issues that people are, and that's not a county, that's a whole statewide amendment.
Again, there are 10 amendments plus the one dealing with the language itself that I talked about earlier.
So we definitely want to talk about the language, but then the orphans, those who are less fortunate, not being able to receive the care that they need, like I said, to thrive. So we do need a cheat sheet, because I know that you know about that personally, as far as like how how children are taken care of.
Exactly.
They have to have guardians, they have to have someone that cares for them, and they have to have resources.
But again, we have to be careful, because I might say no, leave it alone, but I know that there's a very powerful organization. I don't want to call them out, but
Yeah.
a Black organization recently endorsed me in the last 72 hours. They would tell you to vote yes instead of voting no. So people have different
So we need
reasons.
to call them too and get them on the show. What's
well,
up?
well, I'm just saying that people have different reasons for doing
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
No
It is.
worries.
It's really interesting.
I'm not a planner. Y'all know me. But on November 6th, we talking about all of this.
Yes, sir.
Do not, because voting is something I'll be beating the drum about. So.
Yeah.
And being
On
informed.
your own time.
We are
Oh, I will be there. I will be there. Hey man, this dedication. Don't do me. I'm here.
Right.
And
Oh, boy.
I will be on a call with the Divine Nine this week, talking about amendments as well.
Okay.
And maybe I can share that link, but it will be a Zoom call
For sure.
where I'll be talking about what's on the ballot as well with some other candidates.
Yeah, Dave is our representative on that. Okay, then.
The
So
Divine Nine, yeah.
I'm really excited about what has happened tonight. Is there anything else that you think that this particular audience needs to know about you and about what you're looking to gain from being able to be in the U.S. Senate? What that looks like for us in Alabama?
Well, number one, if everybody shows up to vote,
Got to show up.
we will see the first African American United States Senator for the state of Alabama. That would be history making. We can do this. Something that no one else has been talking about is this ballot is a historical ballot. I'm surprised CNN, MSNBC hasn't talked about it. You have not only me running for U.S. Senate as an African American, the gubernatorial nominee is African American, Yolanda Flowers.
Getting her soon.
There's a
All right
lieutenant
now.
governor candidate on the Libertarian slate who's an African American female. There is obviously an attorney general candidate, Wendell Major, who's a Democrat who's running, an African American gentleman who's also a chief of police. We have a person running for Secretary of State, Pamela Lafitte out of Mobile. She's an African American. I don't know if anybody sees the correlation
It's
here, but
black, y'all.
black. Hey,
What?
we making history. We already made history, but no one has talked about it because I think people have tried to write us off. We've not received any money from the state. I'm gonna stop there. No money from the national level. People have not believed us. We've come out of pocket and we fought. And I want to say we've gone through a lot. I went through losing a tire yesterday coming out of Montgomery. $70 pop right there. We are working with just each other as a team because we believe in Alabama. So if anybody, if you don't mind, plug here, wants to check me out, learn more about me and my campaign, if they go to drwillboyd.com, drwillboyd.com, they can see everything from my bio, my beliefs, my platform, everything. If they want to donate, that's wonderful. If they want to call me, the number is 205-769-4422. People are amazed that I answer the phone. Now, please don't call me at 2 o'clock in the morning, but I answer the phone then sometimes too. 205-769-4422. And I'll answer. I'll usually call you back. Our team will do the same. We're just trying to engage on Facebook. It's Dr. Will Boyd for Alabama, or Dr. Will Boyd is another one. On Instagram, Will Boyd for AL. Twitter, Will Boyd for AL. We're out there on social media.
Yeah,
We're fighting. So just reach out to me. I'm accessible. I even knock on people's doors. Sometimes they call into the Chris Coleman show or hopefully your show and say they want to sign. I have shown up on people's doorsteps on Saturdays and Sundays, and they won't even open the door and let me in. You want to sign? I have signs for you. I did bring them.
Look, it's exciting
You
to
did?
hear. It's exciting to hear and to see. And it gives me a new energy about Alabama. Like
Yep.
I'm one of those that's ready to do something different. I really am. And when I say different, I mean elsewhere. But this type of energy and conversation about home for me is invigorating, honestly.
And I didn't talk about enthusiasm. I got to
Get it? Yeah. Enthuse us right quick. We got to go to the phone lines too.
So I can leave you all alone. Enthusiasm. If my microphone has enthusiasm, hold on. Enthusiasm. So I just explained tonight in Fayette County, the Democrats are at about 78% in terms of enthusiasm. Republicans are at 54%. That means we have a 25% gap for Democrats over Republicans today in 2022. In 2020, I should say, when President Biden ran, the enthusiasm was 75%, and he won.
How do you rate enthusiasm?
You rate enthusiasm based
Who
on
the most lit.
There you go. That's it.
Okay.
Go back to when President Obama was elected.
Super lit.
Believe it or not, though, it was only at 66.
Dang, we weren't really
66 from Obama, 75 to Biden. We're at 78 right now in 2022. I don't want to say never been this high, but as far as what I've seen, we're at the highest point. And what does this mean? And I'm going to get out of your way. Illinois was a red state when President Obama left and went to the White House in 2008.
Okay.
But in 2010, Mark Kirk, a Republican, was elected. A Republican was elected in a blue state with only a 19-point enthusiasm leaning to the Republicans. I said we have a 25.
Okay.
25. That means we're about to see history made in Alabama. So please, everybody get out to vote. Tell your mama, your grandmama, your friends, your uncles, tell them to get out and vote. Tell your pastor to get the church bus out. I didn't say who to vote for because somebody said, that's illegal. He can't break the law. Right. But please get everybody motivated. We can win this. We're fired up and we're ready to vote.
Hey, I got one question.
For sure.
All right. They say
I thought I was on my way out.
Man,
I've been up since 4 o'clock.
Hey, listen,
I was gone.
You better go in a minute.
No, I'm really enjoying it.
No, I'm enjoying it. I'm here as long as you want me.
They say that races are determined by small counties, cities, and whatever. How are you looking in those smaller rural areas?
Oh, we're good. You know, one of the things I'm excited about is that there are a lot of issues-based campaigns going on across the state through nonpartisan groups. So it means they're not leaning Democrat or Republican, but they're just going into areas talking about what's important. So if they're in, I used Mountain Brook earlier, they're talking about Mountain Brook issues. If they're in the Black Belt, Greene County or Walker County, next door, Jefferson, Choctaw, whatever it may be, Mobile, Baldwin, they're talking about what's important to them. So answering your question, President Obama won because he was strategic at being surgical in those counties that you mentioned. We're going into those areas and we're figuring out what's important. Now, I want to give my strategy away because my opponents like to listen to what I say. When I go to a county, one of them goes to the county, not even shamefully, but goes to county right after me and shows up. So I don't want to give my whole strategy. But that being said, yes, we are targeting counties that matter. For the most part, we are running a 67 county strategy. But just think about it. Jefferson County alone delivered, I believe, somewhere around 181,000 votes for President Biden. So you want to hit Jefferson County, but not just Jefferson County. You want to make sure you win other areas where there are other pockets. Again, I don't want to call them out, but yes, we've looked at counties and cities and where our votes matter. Now, there's some counties I don't take them for granted. People call me up and say, "Hey, we would love you to come visit us, but you have the whole county anyway." But I'm going anyway because I want people to know I don't take them for granted.
All right.
We want to be there.
All right, Dr. Will Boyd for Senate.
October 24th, last day to register to vote.
Last day to register and the date to vote, November 8th. All right, so make sure y'all go ahead and get your registration on. When is it, Chuck?
October 24th is last day to register.
All right, so before you get your classic tickets, before you do all the other stuff that you're going to do anyway, go ahead and register. I may even leave some forms here at the radio station if you want to come up here and do something. I don't know, but we got them everywhere. And you can do it online too, right? Like, register to vote. Okay. And if you're registered, be sure to vote. That's the other part of it. A lot of people are already registered and just don't get out. So get out to vote. We're going to take one more call before we go to the top of the hour to wrap us up. Caller, you're in with Vital and Dr. Will Boyd. What's the final comment or question of the night?
Hey, Lady Wu.
Hey.
This is Angie on the east side of town. And I just want to express our thanks for Dr. Will Boyd for having our interest in mind and being for us. And we just need to get out and vote. I can say it. He couldn't say it, but I can. We need to vote for Dr. Will Boyd. He's genuinely concerned about the people and taking us to another level If we do what we've always done, we'll get what we've always gotten, which is really nothing.
Ooh.
And I just thank you, Dr. Boyd. God bless you. And I wish you could be at some of these lit concerts that they're having in Birmingham to be able to say something to these young adults. We need those votes.
Tell Lady Wu get me some tickets, and I'll pop in there and say a word or two.
At the lituation.
All right.
All right. I love it.
Thank you so much.
You told it.
All right,
You
then.
taught it.
I mean, she's vital. They listen to the show. People,
She's lit concert.
absolutely. You are so welcome. Thank you for hanging with us tonight. We are so happy to meet you. You are now officially vital. I wish we had a pen to pin you with. We had to work on that. We're going to get something to give out people when they come in here and get vital. We'll get you a shirt too, for sure. We got those. So yeah, we get you a purple shirt. Yeah, get our stuff, and come back in, y'all. It's the top of the second hour. You know we better turn up and act a little crazy. So keep it locked right here to the Abby Award-winning Vital Show on B94.9. WATV will be right back.
WATV and Parish Reed events are giving you the best classic Friday party ever. Friday, October 20th at the
Leave it alone. They leave it
We were
alone.
just very serious, and now
I just told her like second hour is about to
for
be
the people who
ridiculous.
like
For the people in the bike.
Let me find us a.
They let the
BS. Back
riffraff
up on our
in.
BS. Okay, so
They let the and when I say they, I mean me.
say Dr. Boyd, let the riffraff in.
Yeah, let me in now.
Yeah, it's been a big week. A lot has happened. A lot of celebrities broke up, and then they started having the average people. I'm just saying, it really impacted the average people. It made them feel like relationships don't work no more. So that happened. Tommy Tuberville said some things that were offensive to some other blacks.
That's wild.
What else? There's a
There
new
are more white people on food stamps in the state of Alabama than black people.
I mean,
Just
you
run
know,
the numbers.
run the
My bad.
numbers. That's what he said, though. Also, Kanye West wore a shirt that said
I
"White
done
Lives
told y'all
Matter."
about Mr. Red Hat. How many times have I been
So look.
pounding this table about this nonsense?
How did you come up with calling him Mr. Red Hat?
Because he wore that red hat.
So that's when that started, and that's his.
I
that's-
don't. Yeah.
So
That's not
look, so we
Kanye.
got to have we have to have a conversation about the antics because for one, mental health is tied into it. And
It's real.
let me give this plug now. Tomorrow, and it's so I love that it goes with my day. October 10th is Mental Health Awareness Day. I love that, and it's just that one day. On the day I was born, and that's something that I'm just so big about.
Tomorrow's birthday?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why we're going out tonight.
Oh.
So yeah, hopefully you got your dancing shoes on. But with that being such a big part of what we are facing, and I'm so glad that our Senate candidate brought it up about how mental health impacts people, makes them make these decisions. And I feel like that's a big part. That may be 50% of it. The other 50% is publicity and
might be more than 50.
That's what I was going to say.
It might be more
I
than
mean,
50.
If we stop paying him any attention, I think if we just stop like making such a big deal when he does these things, it don't matter. Like I don't care nothing about Kanye.
I don't pay that man no attention. That's why
I gave him back to the streets a long time ago.
And you know what? For a long time, I used to say, "Somebody please go get Kanye," but now I'm just like,
No,
leave
you
him
say
where
what?
he at. Somebody go get him and save him, because none of this started happening until like his mother died, and then
Okay, and
Yeah.
get him back to Kim. We don't want him.
right.
Okay.
she
But
don't
do
want
you-
him either.
Right. Do y'all remember when the guy on TMZ, Van Lathan,
Yep.
kind of went in on him? I got that recording and I listened to it, and I was like, Kanye didn't really know what to say. He was just standing there looking all big cheeked and crazy. Yeah.
So
I can't deny his talent. I just don't rock with him. I ain't rock with him for ever since then. I mean, it's just
I miss early 2000s Kanye.
undergrad Kanye.
Yeah, undergrad Kanye.
Home-
College dropout
homecoming,
Kanye.
college, right.
Homecoming.
So his
late
white lives.
registration too.
Yeah,
808s and Heartbreaks, man. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is one of my favorite albums
everything
ever.
that he
I
did-
refuse to play that.
Okay, he made
you
good
won't even listen
music.
anymore.
No.
Okay.
You
So
won't
is he
listen
like,
anymore?
Like R. Kelly not listening no more.
No, like I don't like. I can't force nobody else to change their music, but like he not getting none of my money.
So
Nope.
even DJing,
Nope.
like if we
No.
okay.
Nope.
So listen,
I
his
told
White
you,
Lives
him,
Matter
Robert, and Chris
shirt,
Brown.
right?
No, nope.
You did say
You
Chris
don't
Brown
like Chris
too.
Brown?
That's a small catalog now.
It's easy for me not to play Chris Brown because I don't even know a lot of his music. I mean, I know it's good. Yeah, I
And you
just
can
don't,
work
'cause I'm
around
not
it.
that-
This is true.
He's a great entertainer.
Yeah.
You can work around it. His White Lives Matter shirt and Tucker Carlson appearance prove it. Kanye West doesn't want a way back. So black, he doesn't want to come back. Tucker Carlson went to great lengths to remix Kanye West for his large conservative audience on Thursday night, calling him an artist, describing his erratic tweet storm as free-form social media posts, and introducing him as a Christian evangelist.
I mean,
I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Sunday
that
service.
yeah.
Look, that's one of my favorite. That's
I
one
still
of
want to
my
rock with him now.
man.
But I mean, look.
When Kanye had the choir.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
Kanye
was
is
lit.
tough.
That was very lit.
Kanye
Okay.
is tough because Kanye has a catalog.
All right. So if you hadn't been watching Fox News for the past 20 years, you never suspect this was the same network and time slot on which Bill O'Reilly once dismissed West as the dopey little rapper. But the network's view on West, who now goes by Ye, has shifted markedly in the 6 years since the rapper fashionista has made a hard right turn toward conservative liberalism. Carlson was warming his viewers up to West as a lead-in to an exclusive 2-part one-on-one interview shot at West's Yeezy fashion brand headquarters in Los Angeles. For the better part of an hour, West was unsmiling and long-winded, which is a sign of what? Mental health concerns.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
This-
was a lifetime ago.
Man, so
Yeah.
he has totally changed. He's morphed. Okay. So,
y'all don't think he was mentally ill then?
absolutely. West was
It just wasn't manifesting
unsmiling.
itself
Right.
publicly.
West was unsmiling and long-winded among many other things. He likened his choice to debut a White Lives Matter shirt at Paris Fashion Week to Tanya Harding attempting a triple axel. He said it's using good instinct. Yeah. Attributed the fashion industry backlash against the shirt to a campaign orchestrated by Anna Wintour, and compared Donald Trump to Ralph Lauren. Yes.
What? I'm still tripping on the Tanya Harding thing. The same woman who hired her husband to like
beat somebody in the legs.
Nancy Kerrigan.
Okay, so in Friday nights part 2, West took to a public speculation over his mental health. He said that hurts his feelings when y'all say that, while also suggesting that Gap knew about the Uvalde shootings before they happened.
Okay.
I'm just telling y'all. And as he unspooled these dark, twisted fallacies with a lanyard showing an ultrasound draped around his neck, a visibly perplexed Carlson nonetheless nodded and smiled along while taking great pains to assure his viewers that the man he was humoring was definitely worth listening to. You can judge for yourself, Carlson said to the camera.
Slavery is a choice.
I'll stop there. But then I'm going to go down to the bottom part of this.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Slavery is a choice. Okay.
You do that too.
Come on, folks.
So let's go to this part. West had only been invited on Fox News because of his controversial show at Paris Fashion Week. West turned up to the secret collection in a long sleeve t-shirt printed on the back were the words White Lives Matter, which the Anti-Defamation considers a hate slogan used by the KKK, the Aryan Renaissance Society, and other white supremacist groups. This tone-deaf fashion statement was amplified by the right-wing pundit Candace Owens and Lauryn Hill's daughter, Selah Marley. Selah, granddaughter of Bob Marley and daughter of R&B freedom fighter Lauryn Hill. Supermodel Naomi Campbell appeared at the show but did not wear the shirt. You can't manage me, West began. This is an unmanageable situation.
We're giving this man a lot of airtime.
All right.
I know this right. I'm confused.
Okay, so I want us to look at that. When you have like we just talked about having a platform, having a name, being able to cross over and do these things. Do you think he'll come back with some type of real live? I did all of that to get black people to respond.
He can never come back. It's over.
No.
Okay. Well, nothing else on
Good
that.
Chat.
No.
Good chat. Let's go.
Okay, White Lives matter or don't matter. Let's talk about that
When
part.
have white lives never mattered?
Yeah.
Great
Moving
question.
right
Everybody,
along.
look, hold on.
Okay.
Everybody's life matters, man.
Okay.
I'm cool on that. But like that he made a call. Like, you know, what do they say? There's no all publicity is good publicity, whatever. Like that's all it's about, man. Like, come on, yo. It's crazy.
Oh boy.
Crazy.
All right. Well, that's
It
what
frustrates me, man.
That's what I had on that.
Yeah.
But he lost like the people who were actually gonna hold him down and embrace him, because white people really gonna throw him away in a minute. They are.
They ain't studying him now.
His
but
mama and what was his first girl or what? They weren't married, right? Kim?
I think when I name Kim too.
Yes, it
The
was.
Delta.
No. Oh, that was.
Oh, is it
He had
somebody with a
somebody.
D?
He
I
had a
forgot.
black girl. She was a Delta. I can't remember
Yeah.
what her name was.
You a Delta?
No,
She give you Delta vibes.
I can't.
You can't be a Delta?
I can't give you Delta vibes. I was talking to Candace.
Oh.
Sure.
All
My bad.
right.
Not Owens though.
Right. So non-Candace Owens. What else do you have over there as far as breaking news? What else has happened over the week?
Y'all gonna talk? Go ahead.
Patrick Starworth was convicted.
Who is that?
Yes, sir.
Who was that?
Names
Cupcake's
don't ever
killer.
ring for him.
I don't want to talk
Who?
about him either.
Who's Patrick Starworth?
The guy who
Cupcake, the
kidnapped
kidnapped
Cupcake.
Cupcake McKinney.
Oh. Sorry, I didn't know the name.
Yeah, like
My
we
bad.
don't keep, I get
I did
that.
not know his name.
So
He got what did he get? Oh, they haven't sentenced him
They
yet.
haven't
They haven't sentenced him yet, but he was found guilty. That he hasn't been. The trial has not even. The state trial hasn't even started with
We shouldn't
charging
even
him for
had to pay
murder.
for
This
that.
was just a kidnapping charge, federal court.
There was a woman involved in that too, right?
Yeah.
absolutely. His,
Eric
Did
Arisha.
did she get?
Her trial is
no,
actually
no.
set to start in November in
Okay.
Tuscaloosa.
His was in Tuscaloosa one. Was he not in
Oh,
Tuscaloosa?
yeah, that makes sense.
Why? And I want. That's my question. Why does that make
Right, the
sense?
whole-
Why is it in
Not gonna get-
Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, he's not gonna get a fair trial.
the whole world knew about
Why
this.
would he get a fair
Still-
trial in Tuscaloosa?
Why would you want to go to Tuscaloosa
You
after
change-
Larry went to Tuscaloosa?
You change venues because you think that it's too much publicity in the area. That's a smart move. Like it's actually a smart move. I don't think the outcome is going to change that
Right.
much.
Because he made a quote saying, "I may have raped her, but I didn't kill
What?
her."
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my!
Chuck, where you been?
Doing his day job.
I'm playing Candy Crush like we're doing right now.
You're right. Like, let me keep some sense of sanity.
But
I totally get it.
A change of venue in cases like that, that's like pretty.
But to
common.
Tuscaloosa though, Chuck, like,
You can't leave the state.
but he couldn't have went somewhere else.
Like, well, Huntsville,
I don't,
Montgomery,
I
Mobile.
don't know.
I don't know if there is a geographical limitation for how far you can leave.
Okay.
I don't know.
He wouldn't need to go to like Pickens County or somewhere up there.
Like just his whole testimony in the statements was just sickening. I followed it all week because
Y'all be like,
Cupcake kind of it hurt us all.
Yeah.
That's a 3-year-old baby.
Yeah.
We're just not expecting that to happen in
and
Birmingham.
it was a big thing when I found out that she was found. I was away in Michigan for work.
It was national.
Yeah, and it was national.
Yeah.
My cousins came to see me, and like they was like, "Oh my God, they found!" Like they knew they were keeping up with
Everybody
the story.
knew.
So it was a big deal.
Y'all remember what I told y'all in that thread about why I don't like to commit crimes? Like that's gonna happen to him day one. Day one. Oh,
Right.
Day,
Look,
day
everybody
one.
knows.
He gonna be
Not
somebody's
everybody
girlfriend.
knows.
Day one. 100%.
Everybody knows.
100%.
And the fact that the whole, her family and then other children who were involved that saw this, her brother, the other, I mean, like,
And other kids were approached by them
Yeah, it
before they
wasn't
even got
just- yeah.
Cupcake.
Yeah.
Yeah, he approached
He
other
was
kids.
trying to kidnap anybody.
They were in
That's
Tom
wild,
Brown
yo.
Village asking kids if they wanted candy and
I
stuff
do
when they
remember
were
that.
walking
so
home.
look, it brings the question. I wonder if this was discussed. Had they done this before? Had other children been
Molested or
approached
anything.
before.
Yeah,
Approached.
yeah.
Wow, yo.
That
I
does
don't
pose
know.
that question.
like y'all just out looking for a child, a baby.
And we do know that she didn't have custody of her own kids. Like she
Right.
had just been arrested for
For
trying to
kidnapping her
kidnap
own.
her
a
own
high
children.
speed
back.
chase.
So I'm wondering why she lost her children.
Because she was unfit. She grew up in foster care.
That's sad.
All
And so
her
all
life.
of this came out in the story.
Right, like
Yeah,
all of
all
those
of
came
them.
out.
Actually, Patrick Stallworth said that because she grew up in foster care, when she presented Cupcake to him, she asked him to do the same things to her that were done to her as a child
See,
growing up in
like,
foster care.
That is sick.
Yeah.
as
Patrick
hell.
Stallworth said because Derek had been molested as a child growing up in foster
That's the
care.
woman.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Okay.
That she wanted to watch him do things to Cupcake that were done to her.
Wow.
Well,
There was
Yeah.
child pornography found in his phone. It's just real sick. He bought an enhancement pill after they kidnapped her. It was just
these
real
are the
sick and
things
crazy.
He on that
have been
D-dope?
shared publicly, like absolute, like public sharing. After this case, so people are trying to speculate and put the bits and pieces together when it happened 3 years ago. Nobody can understand, like, well, how did that happen and what happened and why did now the actual details are coming out loud and people are, you have to remind people that there are families that are reliving this because it's
Yep.
now coming
Right,
back
because
up.
they
Right?
had to testify as well this week, in which they will have to testify in their
Again.
trial
Again.
as well. And then when the state trial comes up, they're gonna have to testify again.
Same thing I told y'all about Dahmer. Same thing.
Don't bring it back up, Chuck. I thought we was gonna be out for that this week. Have you
I'm
watched
just,
it?
no, I still haven't.
I
been a
watched some more
wild
new
week.
stuff today, but we're not talking
Yeah.
about that right
But I'm just
now.
talking about the reliving of the trauma
Right.
part of it.
But
Now you don't
actually,
even want to talk about
based
it.
on how big it's been, like on social media, her parents have been arguing back and forth with folks for 3 years.
For
since it happened.
years.
Really?
Yes.
What you arguing?
Live videos.
Going live.
Arguing about what?
You would have to see them, Chuck, in
You
order to
would.
put the dots together to make it make sense.
The
Yeah.
details.
You-
People,
basically.
Yeah.
what are people arguing with her parents about? That's okay.
Well, hell, the parents was arguing. at
Yeah, the
each
parents were
other.
going back and forth for
You
a
would
while.
have to see them.
Yeah, it's
So-
really crazy.
So all in all, just like I know that the attorney for Cupcake or for the family said, like, my job, I feel good about what I did because I got to see this family breathe a sigh of relief. He
Yeah.
like
Who's
I wouldn't have to be
lawyer?
paid. I can't even remember the man's name, but
There's no sigh of relief there for me. I have a
You can't see that.
2-year-old.
Well, you get
I don't-
a modicum
don't.
of justice, right? Like,
No, that ain't what I'm.
I don't know,
We
'cause
ain't even gonna discuss my type of justice.
I know
but
numbers.
This ain't it for me and my
Period.
folks.
I don't know about that. I don't know. Like being in a courtroom with you, I'm trying to get to you to kill you or do something.
Right.
Like I don't know
you
that I
don't
would
want
be
me to
able to
testify.
I don't know how that would go.
Because I got my cousin in the background who ain't got nothing to lose waiting to pop you.
I feel that.
You see, so like it's that type of thing for a lot of people, and then for you to be able to still turn around and be mouthed. Yeah, I'm about to start cussing. Okay, let's go to the next story.
You can't do that.
I'm about to go
weird.
in. Courtney, you was about to have a whole bill.
Yeah.
Okay, what else has happened? Let's keep it moving because I was really about to cuss. Courtney Fresh, I'm sorry.
You was.
Hell yeah.
A whole bill.
Baby, I don't even know how much that word costs. Okay.
How did the block party thing go?
The tailgate.
Tailgate.
So about that, and I do want to apologize to my listeners who I hyped it up for all week because I thought about I went to Montgomery.
Oh,
So
you weren't here?
Oh my God.
That was wild. That's wild.
So, Alabama State University had homecoming yesterday, and I really wasn't torn because either I could watch it in person or I could watch it here. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go down. And my daughter was a big influence in that. Woke up and was like, "Mom, let's go to homecoming." I was like, you know what? Let's go to homecoming. Now, one thing that I recognized on the way there is that everybody from Tennessee was on the freeway. Like,
Is that
where
sign
y'all
still up
going?
there?
Yeah,
Go to
still up
church.
there.
Go to church. And
Absolutely.
you go
I
in the
literally
hill.
just told my wife that I've seen so many Tennessee tags
In Indiana,
within the past 3 weeks in Alabama. Those
Why?
blue tags. I don't know
they're
what
going
they're.
to the beach, Dave.
Why it's cold?
No, so so let me out. You know, we asked, right?
Please let me know what's happening.
Hey, since we side by side in traffic, hey, where
Oh,
y'all
you talking about
going?
non-moving traffic?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
2 lanes. You know how we go.
Yeah.
You know, 65A was like ridiculous.
And it's probably cheap.
Probably.
It's October. Who
But
goes
I'm
to
like,
the beach
y'all
in
don't have.
October? It's
I'm
cold.
going to. So look, like
It
y'all
get
don't
cold
have
at the
another beach
beach.
to go to
It get cold.
It's
at
not
the
cold.
beach.
It's not cold yet.
in Florida.
I do not do non-warm water.
It's not cold though yet, and it's probably super cheap.
So it's fall break for
Yeah.
for Tennessee.
I know it's
Oh,
probably on the
Mhm.
low.
But the fact that the whole state wanted to come through Alabama to go to our beaches, y'all ain't got no other beach the other direction.
No.
What other
No,
direction?
no, they don't. No, actually, no, they don't. I mean, where are they gonna go?
What's on top? What's on top of them?
I mean, they go to. I mean,
Why they got to come through here
Well,
when we
even
trying to
if
go
it
to
is
Montgomery?
something on top of them, what's
you don't
gonna be
want to.
beachy?
You want to be in the. You want to be in the Gulf. You don't want to be in the Atlantic.
Okay,
It's
I
all
get
rocky and like people don't understand that. Like our beaches.
They do.
Well, sure.
I said, dang.
Sure.
So it's like a group me that told y'all all to go. We went to McDonald's. Dude was like, man, I've been in here for 55 minutes waiting on my order. I said, sorry, ain't no chicken nugget that good. I'm just trying to get a drink and use the restroom.
Ain't no chicken nugget
and go
that good.
to the game. Yeah, it was crazy. So shout out to everybody who made it to Montgomery.
Did y'all rock?
In the midst of
Dave?
that?
Where
Look
we
at
on?
Dave.
Hey, Dave gave me the stank face.
Right. Like, did we rock?
That's right. It's on Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Bruh.
We were at BB King's on Saturday night. The Party Rockers.
Y'all rocked the party.
What did we? That's what we do.
And you also did Friday here for the other classics. So let's talk about how
yeah.
much stuff went on this weekend. I think every school is represented in the room.
Cornell Wesley brought Young Jeezy to Birmingham. I'm gonna say it 2 more times.
Oh, that's who
before-
did it.
I'm gonna say it 2 more times before I get up there.
Okay, so shouts out to Cornell Wesley for bringing Jeezy to Birmingham. Jeezy came and did his thing and dipped. It was lit, like real quick.
Well, you know
Yeah,
why?
because he had to
It
go to
was
one
quick
music
and it was
fest.
early.
You know why?
And Tennessee State, right?
Because he had to go to Nashville.
Yeah. So
And then he went to one music fest because my sister saw him there yesterday.
baby, he
That was
was
on
running.
yesterday. Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
running it up. So all
running
of that
that check
happened. Run me my
I'm
bag.
in the wrong line.
All of that happened. Right, we need to be rappers.
I've been waiting on you since college when you was rapping in the cab. I don't know what's your problem.
We went. He
a
went
little
in too.
old now.
That was a,
I'm tired.
That was lit.
Yeah.
And then we're talking about Liddy in the city. The city was Liddy. Morehouse was here. Tuskegee was here.
Yep.
Alabama State. We were there. And Jack State met us there. And y'all,
Shout
some
out to
things
Morehouse.
happened.
Listen, I saw that from so many different
Absolutely.
angles.
Okay, so let's talk about it, Dave. All right, so
Yeah.
sportsmanship. Let's go to the vital piece of this conversation first. Sportsmanship with any sport. Chuck, you be hooping. So like sportsmanship, if you're gonna play, you gotta know that you're gonna lose sometimes. You gotta know to be nice to the other team because it's a game, right? It's a game.
It's a game.
But we know like respect comes with this thing too.
Put some respect on it.
Did they
And-
run up
So-
the score? Is that what?
No, they didn't.
Nah, it was a real game.
Yeah, they didn't
It
beat
was
us like
legit.
people thought they really were. I really thought we held them until the third quarter.
Yeah,
They started
yeah.
scoring in the third quarter.
What was the
Okay.
final score? I don't-
24-12.
It was not bad at all. And we were
Okay.
actually leading for a minute. Okay, so
Yeah.
if you don't know, you're about to find out what happened that has the whole everybody trying to talk or coming up with some type of conversation. So game ends.
Game ends, and what is shown is Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, walking over to, you know how the coaches shake hands at the end of the game, and they shook hands, but when he got ready to lean in to give Coach Rob the bruh hug, he stiff armed him. He
And it looked like
"Bruh, I want that. Yeah.
Right, get back.
And then if the angle shows, people think that that Coach Rob did that. Nah, Dion pushed his hand through his arm like that out the way.
He was like, unhand me. I watched it.
I'm gonna go back
He
and
snatched back, unhand me, went.
But there's a guy on YouTube who has this show called Off Script named Scotty. He broke it down. If you really look at the way he broke it down, Coach Rob went in with a handshake.
Yeah, I'm gonna shake your hand.
He didn't go in with the
lean.
bruh brunch, with the bruh brunch hug. Yeah, he went in with
We got a hug day.
he went in with the hello man, how are you? A great game.
Right.
Dion came in with the hey, what up, cuz? Da. So when he leaned in to hug him, Rob was like, nah, I don't want that.
I don't want no hug. I ain't got to embrace you. Is what he said.
And people are killing Coach Rob. I stand with Coach Rob. I think, me personally, you disrespected that man for the past 2-3 weeks. People talking about he mad because he lost the game. No, we didn't lose like people thought we were going to lose. Everybody was like, it's going to be 60-0.
But what they said, Dion was saying, I'm going to run it up over 50.
Oh, he said a while back when he beat A&M so bad, he was like, man, we was trying to see if all the lights on the scoreboard work. So that's what he really was trying to do here. But we held them to that. But when he came in, he walked all through Alabama State side and all that stuff, and people was yelling at him. And then some of the players got the yapping at Jackson. It looks like to me, just to me now, that he's taught his team how to do little nuances to get in your head before the game.
Time, baby.
Everybody knows the 50-yard line, one end zone is where one team warms up, the other end zones where the other team. His players were in our end zone, like 3 or 4 of them was down there, star stuff. So I think it was a mental thing, like, getting in our heads, but I don't think Coach Rob was wrong. Though.
I don't either. And actually, Coach Prime said that he walks every stadium. He does.
I'm Deion Sanders. Look,
but he's been really arrogant. I don't. Yeah,
he's a heckler.
Exactly.
Okay.
We don't.
Oh snap!
We don't care about you being Deion Sanders in Montgomery.
Nothing about it.
Well, nobody should care about him being Deion
that's why I was recording. Like,
anywhere,
look at
right?
Deion.
So that posed the question that somebody asked today. So do you think a lot of people came to the game for a homecoming, or do you think a lot of women came to see Deion,
baby,
and a lot of dudes came to see Prime?
I came home for homecoming, and I got the opportunity to see Prime, and I also got to see Deion Sanders. And right, because it's 2 different people, kind of, sort of, right? 2 personalities, kind of like. All right.
Both of them are toes to me.
I mean, but
I think they're both really arrogant. And like
I'm
Coach
Deion Sanders. I've earned this. This is who I've
fine.
always been this way. I made
You've always been that way, but you ain't
though.
swag. What Coach Rob said, you ain't swag. I'm swag. You are not swag.
Yeah,
but I'm Deion. I'm NFL. Like, what are you talking about?
So
yeah,
I ain't got no dog in the fight.
Because you said you were torn.
I am very torn. So I understand the logistics of it, right? I understand why he didn't want to hood. Okay.
We ain't gotta do all that.
We don't have to do all that. I do feel like Deion Sanders is a bit arrogant because he is Deion Sanders. And he even made a statement about people saying, who am I or something. And I am who a lot of people dream to be.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He did. That was his clap.
But what if I am?
And it is very true. So with that being said, that goes back to me thinking that he's very arrogant. But sometimes I believe that no response is the best response at all. I believe where the coach from Alabama State messed up at was the after interview. You know how they do the interview right after the football game? He could have spoke his piece, but it was just really, really combative. It was combative to the point where he came back and gave a written apology to Alabama State and a couple of the president and some other people. So I just sometimes I feel like it is no
right
yeah, but if you was gonna do it, if you was gonna do it,
stand on
it.
That's how she been want to do all night.
If you was gonna do it, then stand on it. But don't do it and then come back and give an apology, because then you kind of look cowardly. You just shouldn't have did it at all if you was gonna come back and have to apologize for it.
Okay, so apology, no. But if I could explain, like what Dave explained, look. A hug is a bit excessive. I mean, we played the game. We played a good game. I believe my guys did a good job.
What's understood don't have to be explained, though. I didn't want your hug. I pushed it out the way. I don't have nothing else to say because I did it. He ain't got to say nothing else.
And Coach did say that in the interview. He was like, I don't have to do that. I don't want to embrace you. And I feel I don't have to do that.
Well, you did play Alabama State all weekend. Like, the only reason why you guys booked us on your homecoming is because it's a money game. So you made it seem like, I mean, I understand getting in the
Like,
head.
we about to
and all
facts,
that,
right?
You know, but his thing of it was like he disrespected that man.
All
So
week.
I think Coach Robinson just
So
He let Prime get the best of him.
he let him get the best of him. He did that.
You let another radio host come in here with her podcast or her show and try to do this and talk about
I'm
us
gonna
all
stand
week.
on them.
I'm standing on the board running the show. Like it's a thing. I look at it kind of like at my home where this is my, this is mine. These are my people. This is my team. And you come in here, you flaunt. You got your gold headphones, your gold mic, and you gonna show me how to do something because no.
But this is what people don't know. It's been a bad history of Alabama State and Jackson State for years. When I was in the band in '95, we got to fight with the band at Legion Field, buses parked side by side.
I was like, come on.
Yeah,
I'm finna hit you with my trombone.
Oh, bro, it was blood. Man, they was hitting folks with mouthpieces and all. This was in '95. So it's been a Hatfields and McCoys with Jackson State. So I think going forward, people just know that it's going to be an intense rivalry.
Yeah.
Because when you go down there to Jackson, you can best believe they ain't finna get what happened yesterday. And if you've never been to Memorial Stadium to play at Jackson State,
I went when we were in college.
it's just as bad as we are in Hornet. You do not want to be in the end zone where the people sit in Hornet Stadium. If your band anybody has to walk around there, bro, you might get hit with chicken bones and it's a tough
love
place.
hate type
It really
situation.
is. I tell people HBCUs are the most, what you call it? We love each other, but it's the
love-hate
most
relationship.
functional, dysfunctional
Yeah.
family in the world.
Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, you're in with Vital. We're talking about HBCU culture. What happened at the game yesterday? What you got?
Hello, Lady Wu and the crew.
Hey.
What's up?
This is number one and from the east side of town.
Hey.
I'm an old school listener. I remember when Bo Jackson played football, then he went to baseball.
Uh-huh.
And after that, Deion Sanders, not prime time,
Just Deion.
competed with him. But I saw Deion when he played with the Dallas Cowboys. You know, I don't care too much for them, but he played with the Cowboys. He was nasty on the field. I'm not taking anything from him. He was good, but he was nasty then. I've never felt like he was a clean athlete. So even as a coach, I'm thinking the same thing as a carryover from his past.
Okay.
He's just being himself.
Sound like Chuck.
I'm just being myself.
Now, what I will say, as it relates to prime time and all of the greatness that he is, for me, it's kind of like he's shining a light to HBCUs, and that's
100%.
not to take anything away from the greatness that they already had, but because he is who he is, he's just shining a different light. So hopefully this will open up more doors for HBCUs all around, not just Jack State.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But it's an ugly light.
It's an ugly light.
Oh no, man. I mean, he's trying. Look, I mean, think about the amount of money that he's brought to that program just by his mere presence. So, like, there is sometimes the benefits. I'm not saying it outweighs anything, but you also got to look at that part too.
I wanna ask this question. I want to pose it because, like, a lot of time, like, if I look at what all of us do in our day jobs and just kind of who we are as a unit, right? When you are who you are and you are good at what you do, or you're confident, and you use that as a ploy to push your brand, people like that. And there are a lot of people who, like Mr. Redhead. There are people who use their platforms to, it may come off as being nasty or being arrogant or being whatever it is, but you're listening to me, you're watching me, somebody's liking it. You liking the fact that I do this to y'all. Y'all like when I do this to you.
You like abuse.
Yes, you
It's
like y'all like this.
It's like old girl. The what's the thing about the Facebook letter to the teacher?
Oh,
and said that increased her brand or following by however many.
right,
I don't
like,
believe that, but
That's
whatever.
mental illness is what that is.
Which music you want? Okay, you want to say a trombone? She wanted it. But look, like, do we not get excited about that? Like, I mean, even for as much as we can't stand Donald Trump, sometimes his stupidity was hilarious, and we tuned in to see, like, what is this fool gonna say this week?
I'd be looking like this.
And he also did some good things. Like I got to say that. I mean, so there are times in which there are some good. If there are some good things that happen, sort of embrace that too. I think.
Yeah, but an apology, I can't say that's necessary. I enjoyed the theatrics of the game, and I think if you know who you playing, you come with it too.
Yeah.
Why coach didn't come out there with a cape on? Like, hey, we gonna
That's what I'm
meet,
talking about.
we
You
gonna
got-
meet your level of
arrogance.
arrogance, whatever.
What phone?
A cape.
Oh,
Look how he
had a
walked too.
cape
That's
on?
what I wanted to see. I wanted to see him walk.
let me see it.
And like if you walk through the band like that, what happens? You
Baby,
get
you gonna
you
get
get
jumped.
beat up.
You gonna get jumped on.
And we all know that. Like, you don't cut through, even in high school, black schools in Birmingham high school. you don't walk through no band line.
Little boy, if
you
you
just
don't move, this the short way.
But right, that's the mind games that
Oh,
you
the
play.
whole bass drum is
Just
you.
like people look. There's this whole thing about Mike Tyson beat you before you even got in the ring.
Ooh, yeah, like play with your mind.
Play with your
baby.
mind.
I'm gonna start doing that.
Michael
Does-
Jordan
y'all
beat
gonna
you.
hate me
Saban
next
do
year.
that? I'm not really into football, but
Like-
does Nick Saban do that? Or it? I mean, like, what's
Ooh.
No, he doesn't.
But let me tell y'all. So we were at dinner.
They got
today
into it though,
talking.
didn't they?
I don't know. No, they
No.
friends. They cool.
Nick
but-
Saban and
You talking-
Prime.
no Nick
They
Prime
friends.
mad because he doesn't. He's not the equivalent of Nick Saban. That was the
on the
issue.
coaching level, but now they
Yeah.
make commercials together. So look, this is what I did here today. That Nick Saban was called a narcissist by what's the other coach? Not Daddy text me. What the man
You said-
name is?
They had to tell me who it was.
What the man name is? Coach Dave, is you listening? What are you doing?
Nick Saban was called a narcissist.
They was talking about the players cussing Dion out, but Dion put this on his page. I do this every game, but the other state players are cursing me out.
Oh.
Yeah, Dion, you sound a little soft now. So I'm just with the smoke.
I mean, right? Like it's entertainment, but we gonna start doing that. Don't worry about it.
Don't.
But no-
Oh, so we gonna start like picking that little
Prime.
simulcast.
Right, yes, we about to go
Oh,
crazy.
I live for that.
Oh goodness!
Oh,
but
I be so
no,
lit.
I'm trying to tell you who called Nick Saban a narcissist.
Your dad's-
Oh,
Still
when
ain't text
you
you.
talking
Let me
about it wasn't Jimbo Fisher.
It may have been he. Man, come on, man, text me.
Let me see. I'm Googling.
I don't know.
It may have been Jumbo Fisher. I kind of remember seeing
Yeah.
it.
But basically, a lot of people like Nick Saban too, and they love Alabama. Really, really wild about Alabama. So to hear that from somebody else's perspective, like, man, we love Saban, but what if he does display narcissistic?
Listen.
Well, we don't
tendencies?
know what goes on inside of his
Right.
to be
program.
that good at your job, like Deion Sanders' confidence.
Oh,
and cockiness
it was
and all
Jimbo
that,
Fisher.
I thought
Okay.
so. All that is what got him to where he is.
Okay.
And so like that's just who you are, right? Like it's just like so. My favorite basketball player is Russell Westbrook, and he has been catching God bless grief like for years. But like, and they're telling him,
was
he
hurt.
should go to 6-man. He might get out of the league, like blah 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 blah. His confidence is what got him to where he is right now, and like you can't dial that stuff back. You just can't. Just like the whole thing with Draymond Green and Jordan Poole that just happened over the weekend
Right? What
or
was
last
that?
week. That's crazy, but like that's who Draymond Green is, and you can't try to contain that because then he's going to be a lesser basketball player. So that's the thing with Deion, I think.
Okay.
So Saban said, "I still say you bought your whole team," and
Yeah.
Jimbo says, "Okay, narcissist."
Yeah, that they got because of the
Oh.
the NIL stuff.
Okay.
So much. I think when people get in their jobs, we forget that they are human and they still have that whoever they are as people. Like, this is who I am anyway. I can imagine a Sunday dinner with Deion Sanders.
well, we
It's
just
probably
kind of
super
forget
lit.
that as regular people, though, right?
Absolutely,
Like,
we do.
So
I'm out here looking busted at Dollar Tree. I don't need you looking down at my feet. I did not put lotion on,
Look,
and
man,
my
you-
toenails are not polished.
You ain't got to like everybody. Look, not everybody like me in my day job. It's fine, but I go to
I'm
work
doing
every
my day job.
but I'm good at my day job.
Okay,
Here's what it is.
step up. Y'all about to see it.
Cornell.
Okay. Well,
Hey, I'm about to have you out here. So, if you ain't a party rocker, baby, you need to rock to the left. We coming through. Move,
Cornell Wesley
Ooh.
brought Young Jeezy to Birmingham.
and he can act how we acting right now. He's gonna sit in his. I brought Jeezy to Birmingham.
Oh, he's stunning. Oh, he
Come
is
on.
stunning about it now.
Come
He
on.
is.
Come
Oh,
on.
yeah.
All right, the stun is real. What else?
a bus from Texas dropped off 50
Cool.
migrants outside of Vice President Kamala Harris's residence.
Migrants. What?
Yeah,
Yeah. 50
you didn't check the group, did you?
on
It's
Thursday
been a
for
weird
the
day.
second time this week. Many of the migrants, which included men, women, and children, told NBC News that they
She
came
don't
from
live in a gated
Venezuela.
community.
Baby, we pulling up.
They were seen carrying small white bags with their only possessions in them. A young man
Oh, my
named Victor
goodness.
said that he came through the jungle before arriving in Texas, and that he was given food on the bus and was treated very well.
And then I'm gonna drop you up at the vice president of the United States
And
House.
that's for the second time this week.
My thing of it is this: the disrespect.
Right.
If that had happened on the previous president's watch,
How did that? Like, who orchestrated that? Do we know?
Probably Trump.
Abbott who?
Who did it?
Just
it happened to
the bus.
No. Who sent them?
We don't know. Who
We don't
sent
know,
you?
too.
We don't know.
We don't know.
I thought you said they came from Texas.
Yeah. Okay. So the governors maybe, but
Governor
like
Abbott. That's why the governor of Texas his name is Abbott.
Oh, we thought you were talking about Abbott Elementary.
Right. We was like, I ain't watched
I
Or
still-
Valerie
No, we
Abbott.
did.
We thought they went over Valerie Abbott house. We didn't know.
That man is also doing that because he's in contention for like presidential considerations. So, like,
He's
that's what
crazy. And our New York
I would have jumped
mayor
on him. You're not
is
gonna
doing
have
the
these.
same. Like, bring him here, but he dropped them off at the vice president of the whole United States front door.
Again for the
Where does she
second
live?
time this
That
week
is-
in
that is-
DC
Partner, that's my
at the
question.
Naval Observatory in Washington.
You're like,
DC.
how you get?
Right.
Which
Right.
means you had some pull. Somebody orchestrated
need to
that.
get
Somebody
fired.
did that.
Candace, you
somebody
need to
can-
find out who did this.
Because if it was
No,
there,
somebody's already lost their job.
I need them on the team because
That's
they
all
doing
right.
stuff. They pull up anywhere. We could put potatoes everywhere, Miss Black,
Man, potatoes everywhere.
and rubber bands.
Ooh,
Yeah,
we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Ju-
Well,
just don't go with me.
Spud.
yeah, don't be my boyfriend, okay? Don't do
I
that.
want to talk about Ukraine and Russia only
Girl.
because Ukraine is clapping back hard.
They got they leak back. Okay.
They clapping back so hard. So I was watching the news before I left home, and they blew up like one of Russia's main
The port.
Yeah. So shout out to them. They clapping back.
It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
Ain't no
So look,
fun.
the idea that everybody going back to the water crisis and all of that, the idea that everybody was like, oh my God, pray for Ukraine, prayers for Ukraine, almost as if they were defenseless when this thing started. Something happened and things turned around.
Cause didn't Russia just try to sell a part of Ukraine that wasn't even theirs?
Yep.
Like what?
Ukraine's just like, we tired. We tired. Ain't.
When you think about this stuff from a real perspective like that, baby, look, you've done enough. Now, guess what? I'm Courtney to go load up the missile.
Yeah, they
Go
clapping
load up
back.
the missile.
They killing Russian soldiers and all kinds of stuff.
Dave, go get the pepper spray.
But
'Cause
they
this has
doing
been
it.
too much.
It's crazy. And they're much smaller than Russia.
Yep.
So they making strategic moves.
Moves.
So where's Putin? Because he's the one that decided
I
to
do
do
not
all
like
of
that
this.
He's shook.
last
He's
name.
scared.
He's
so
shook. He's
much.
scared.
He's shook
I hate
right
it.
now.
So what are you doing? Like, you decided that you wanted to go and take over this defenseless area because you.
And now he's trying to say he's sorry.
No, it's too late.
It's always way past.
What are you doing? You've been fighting since almost a year.
Cause Ukraine ain't playing no games at this point.
Wow.
They on the 50 at the classic. Like, hey, we here. Like, we here.
Look, can we go
They
back to that
trying
right
to do
quick?
ratchet stuff with their friends.
They ain't turning on the head like
Man,
that.
look, they somewhere on top of a building with what thing, a beam.
Shout out to Glorilla just because I
Oh
watched
my
the BET.
God.
I like Glorilla. Y'all
I
don't-
heard.
Glorilla, hallelujah. Y'all don't like her?
No,
She got a
I
song
do.
with Cardi B, right?
Yeah, she do.
Yeah,
the songs
I
are
heard that.
catchy, but
They
this
all sound
right
the
here,
same.
I ain't ever gonna rap like that. We'll never have.
She
like,
does have.
What?
She gonna be Barry White in a minute.
But what? Let me see if I can play something right quick.
Where's she from? I don't know.
Is she from Tennessee?
Maybe
I just heard it the other day.
she was signed by Yo Gotti. Let
She
me
was
just
signed by
find
Gotti.
something.
Oh,
She look
that,
like
she
that.
from Memphis then.
Ooh,
Right.
we.
Yeah, she
Let's
from
see.
Memphis. You
Yeah.
hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
I just want y'all to hear it so we can know. Because there's somebody listening right now, like, well, I'm not sure who it is. So let me-
FNF.
Yeah. F&F.
yeah, all that. Hold please.
I don't love that song.
No, not at all. Listen,
But it's so catchy.
I don't love that song. I like the other.
this one.
I heard
That's
another-
the one he's talking about with Cordy.
Yeah.
It's kind of music you play when you ride with your friends to go put potatoes in somebody's yard.
But I want you to hear
Okay,
her.
Go catch a case on the air.
I mean, I'm
Just-
gonna ask them to let you try me.
We gotta
Ain't
let
right.
her come in. Y'all listen. Just listen, please. Okay. Let's
The
talk
only
about
thing I can see in my mind that playing is Rico on Billy when he said, "I'm drop a dime on them." I don't like that. I'm drop a dime on them. Eating that banana. Your boy Rico.
I don't like that.
See, it's the cadence for me. Like, what?
I don't love Belly.
I like Glorilla.
Oh, that was.
You got to remember, my name is Chuck, and I lived in Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, was it you?
No,
I need to go back and watch it.
think it through. They ain't know what I'm talking about.
Whoa. Chuck from Omaha.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, you,
Was it
know,
you?
It hit you now.
We
Man,
gonna
I
go
used
back
to
and
catch
watch.
grief.
Okay. Anything else? We got about 5. Well, no, we got more than 5, but let's go. What else? What else is there?
We hit divorces, but we ain't really talk about it. I'm really sad for
Tom Brady,
Heck no.
Giselle. Oh,
Neither
quarterback.
one of them. What's our
Tia,
black couple name?
Tamara.
Yeah, I like them.
the
Who?
twin, Maury,
Yeah.
and what's her dude?
Nah, I can't tell you. Dude, she picked up at the bus stop.
He was an actor
He was, but when they met, she picked him up at the bus stop.
for real.
For real life. That's how they met.
She's
It's
sick
a-
of him.
It's
Was
a
he-
story in the book about a guy that I dated that rode the bus.
By the book.
I don't like it.
The book comes out. Well, the book is available for order tomorrow. It is here.
Why you wanna talk
Finally,
about
I'm gonna talk about it in a second.
Okay.
But that just reminded me of like one of the stories that
You
led
dated
to
a
the
hitchhiker?
spiral.
That man had his thumb out.
He was not a hitchhiker.
Oh, I like his thumb.
I don't think he'll do it as a hitchhiker either. I think he was a starving artist. He wasn't
Yeah.
a hitchhiker. He was just a starving artist.
And she picked him up from the bus stop because
She
they had
picked
been
him up from the
talking.
bus stop. I think like maybe they had did a movie or shot some scenes or something together.
Why at the
And
bus stop?
And that's what I'm trying to
Is
see.
it like
what
the
does
dart? Like, I don't
no,
understand.
you know they was from like California or somewhere like she didn't pick him up from the Max bus stop or
Well,
something
But
crazy.
like she didn't randomly pick him up. It's kind of like,
no,
hey, babe, I'm
like she
here.
had already knew him. Like she knew of him. What about like what
We're
the
just
world?
trying to say.
Like she ain't pick up a panhandler. What is wrong with y'all?
Like, that's what it sounds like. You say
I
pick him up
picked
at the
up a
bus stop.
hitchhiker.
She ain't picked up no doggone.
So look, so that says a lot about why they got divorced. But I saw a clip where they were
he
talking.
Fine. He ain't got no car, but
That's what it be like.
You know they be out here.
no.
Yeah,
Oh, they be out here. They be out here picking them up.
yeah. Like
They
he handsome. I just get him a bath. We can rock.
Can't-
Okay, so
Can't
who
fight
are
love.
who are divorced? Who are divorced this week? The two of them for sure. And
Miguel and his wife.
Who?
Miguel.
Who's
When the
Miguel?
love
The
goes
sick-
on you.
Yeah.
He like women?
He he
Wow.
was married.
What's that mean? It's 2022.
Don't do that, Chuck.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
I need to
So
sit
Miguel,
back.
Miguel
Hold
and
on.
his wife,
Miguel
and then
and his
Giselle
wife.
and Tom
And
Brady.
Tom Brady.
Well, they're
She
not.
said Tom Brady was crazy though.
They're not divorced.
So okay,
Eddie Murphy and Mel B finally settled on new child support. 35 grand a month.
what?
35 grand a month.
How many children is that?
One for their 15-year-old daughter. 35. She was initially getting
It
25
ain't
grand a
summertime no
month.
more. Let me turn that off. Let me do this one. How much?
She was
This-
originally
this
getting
is what I'm talking
25
about.
grand a month.
And they
This
gave her
man.
$10,000
They gave
more.
her 10,
He had a
10K
wife.
more.
And she
Okay.
was pretty. She's very pretty.
This man in this net. Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Miguel and his wife divorced.
Did she
Okay.
find him? Never mind.
So let's talk about this, y'all.
Never
Because
mind.
look, let me show you
Never
what
mind.
happened. There was a square. There was a 4 square of the 4 couples that all publicly announced their divorces this week, and it made a lot of people weird. I mean, I don't know. People
All right. So who was Miguel and the whatever?
and
Tom and
Tom.
Giselle.
Well, they're not
Tim
divorced,
and-
but okay.
I mean Tia and old buddy.
And who's
then
the last one?
last one?
There, I thought the screenshot was sent to the group.
Oh.
Let's see.
Wait,
I'll
check
look
my
right
phone.
quick. But whoever the 4th one was, whoever they were, people were really, we try to find. Oh, here it is. Love is Blind. Ayana officially files for divorce from Jared. Love is Blind
Oh,
star
that's
Ayana
one of those
McNeely.
reality TV.
Yeah, so if you
couples.
follow that stuff, but it was the fact that they all in Corey is his name, Corey
Yeah.
Hardick, after 14 years of marriage, and then so it was a timeline of it, like how have you been with somebody almost 20 years or so, and then you or into the teens, like what happens that you say, I don't want to do this no more.
I'm sick of you.
Right.
And I mean, people grow and people go in different directions.
And people shouldn't have gotten married in the first place.
Growth ain't
Yep.
always together.
Yeah, it's not.
And when you see the footage of these couples in different settings, you can see how, okay, that would have gotten on my nerves. He was talking, and as his partner, she wanted to kind of like, she wasn't cutting him off, but she was like,
She cut him off.
Oh, that's
dog.
one of my pet peeves.
She cut him off. She
I got
did.
3.
He was talking like you kind of.
but okay, so like you do that, and if you love your partner and y'all like doing, he was like,
Who are we
Cause
talking about?
she probably do that all the time.
Tia and Corey.
Yeah, no, that's one of my
he
pet
looked
peeves.
volatile.
I mean, it didn't look like that to me. It didn't.
I'll share it. Okay,
I
guys?
saw it, and people, it just didn't
Oh,
look
you
like
got
that
new
to
nails.
I'm gonna share it.
I just
So
saw
I'm probably gonna have new nails every time you see me.
Okay.
Okay.
Fast 5.
So
What
we
else?
can leave
One
that.
more
Hey,
story.
I don't know. I don't get my
Um,
nails done.
One more story.
Grammy Award-winning singer Bobby Brown opened
What?
up about his substance abuse again on Mike Tyson's podcast called Hot Boxing, and saying that one time he almost overdosed at 9 years old for accidentally frying chicken and cocaine and not flour.
So he went on Mike Tyson's podcast where they regularly smoke dope to talk about his substance abuse problem.
It's called
Okay.
hot box.
It's called hot boxing. All
Yeah,
right,
but I
fam.
had no idea that. Like, how much cocaine do you have in
It's
the
a-
house to
To batter
accidentally-
some chicken.
to
It's a-
batter some chicken and
It's a
fry
powerful
it?
drug.
And he ate it.
Ask Rick
And he
James.
And he
almost-
was 9.
9 years old, and
And
he
I
rushed
bet
to
that
the
chicken
hospital.
was so good. Going
Oh, it was something.
Nah, he got into somebody's stash. They was supposed to be selling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the other part of that is
The
that
cocaine.
everybody likes to say that he wasn't a bad boy until Whitney. So that right there says totally different. 9 years old.
But it may
Nah,
not have
he-
been. It ain't. That wasn't his pack though.
But
I mean,
but
that,
He
did
does
know what
talk
it
about
was?
like previously, like how his mother sold drugs.
that means she had that in the kitchen somewhere. He ain't went to the bedroom and went and got that bag and came back in there and said, "Let me fry this chicken."
But who 9 years old frying chicken
He
right?
said he was trying to.
He
cook
might have
for
been a
his
latchkey
family.
kid.
You can fry chicken.
You
at
can fry
9?
some chicken.
No, you could boil
Am
some
I
hot
used to?
dogs, make an egg or something. You ain't frying chicken.
That's what I'm trying to see. Some cereal. Barely, because you can't pull right. You're pulling like 9 years old, Chuck.
Maybe not that.
Yeah, you make an egg or something.
You can boil it.
Barely.
That's going on the shirt. Make an egg or something.
No, by the time I could reach, I was cooking by the time I could reach the stove. Try to help my mama out.
I don't know. That's so sweet.
She
help
likes to
mama
tell
out.
that story. My
So you-
sister don't cook.
Look, so you did that sweet, but the other story we talked about was that last week, or week before last, when you wanted to call DHR. That wasn't sweet.
That was not a wise decision that I made at all. That was
when
not.
his mama made him watch all the other
Oh,
children
my
play
God.
outside.
I'm never
with them
gonna,
basketball
I'm never
goals.
gonna forget these vital stories that we tell.
That was a poor decision.
Fast 5 is still going. That was just 2 minutes. I don't.
Yeah.
We got 9 minutes on it.
Huh?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
8:51
What?
right there.
Where you
It's
looking?
8:51.
Oh,
It's 8:53 actually.
yeah.
Oh, my God. Well,
Um,
your technology wrong. Not,
Let's do this before we go. So
why
on tomorrow.
so Birmingham City go to school tomorrow, right?
Yeah, they go back.
Yes.
Why they not?
Because they
acknowledging
only
that?
recognize Christopher Wallace.
No.
No, because they only recognize Lady Wu. Let me go and play
it's,
me
not a
some
federal,
birthday
it's, not a,
music.
it's not a federal holiday.
And we used to be out.
My kids out.
My-
Well,
my
it's
mom
a
is
E
off.
day. That's
I know-
what they're called.
I know at least 2 people in this building gonna be at work tomorrow.
Oh,
I got to work.
So do
Be at
y'all
my day job.
y'all remember the little boy who died on that roller coaster ride? And yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, that was crazy.
they have
I
that
did know about
amusement park. That amusement park has officially shut down that ride.
Good.
yeah. Because
After
who wants to
being
sit in that
pressured
seat?
from Tyree's family. That was
Yeah.
the boy's name, Tyree Sampson. They've
That fa-
officially shut it down.
It's tragic, but they're gonna owe a lot of money.
That was crazy.
That was crazy.
Just
Because he was
period.
too big for them to try to strap him in that
Right.
in that
That was a
Right,
failure
anyway.
on multiple levels.
Those are the type things that you have to talk to your children about too, baby. Don't get your big. See, here I go about to put
Right.
Don't put your big self in a ride, and you see that you're
Yeah.
like certain things you have to tell your children, baby. Don't do that when you get out here in these streets.
Well, but there are
Nah,
also employees who knew. I mean, there are multiple failures on that thing.
I don't trust people. So, like, not to take care of my own child. Like, no, I trust you to do your job sometimes, but I want to be able to trust that my child is going to
Got
make
enough
good
sense,
decisions when I'm
right.
not around them. Like, well, I'm gonna just sit in here and hold on tight, Mom. No, you're not. You're
No,
gonna not
You couldn't fit in
do
the seat,
that.
boss. But like, that family's gonna get some money.
Like, Carmen, you see all your friends in the car. Guess what you're not gonna do? Don't get in there with them. Like,
Oh,
what?
I got a public service announcement.
Yeah.
Just because Biden did what he did, hey,
Oh,
dope
yeah.
is still illegal in the state of Alabama, folks, especially in Birmingham. So
Oh man, so don't get caught with your joints, your Delta 8s and all that.
Don't do
Okay.
illegal stuff.
All right.
Okay.
So yes,
And
the
come to
book-
court.
Go to court. The book does come out. It doesn't. You will not get it in your hands tomorrow, but you can officially order the book tomorrow. Fun Girls Don't Have Feelings. It's the
How much
name of
is
the
it?
book. $30.
Ooh.
Oh, this is real life story, so you gonna pay for that. Ain't no $10, $20
Can I borrow
around
yours?
here. No, you cannot.
What?
No, you cannot. What?
Hey, just tell me a story.
And look,
or
that's
two.
another thing. I don't want people around here passing my. No, buy the book. So Fun Girls Don't Have Feelings, something like love stories. So this is like an
Did y'all talk about
in-depth
this?
look.
Is this a book that my daughter can read?
Absolutely.
She's a reader.
She's gonna read and be like, Mom, who did that? So yeah, get the book. You can go to watchwoowork.com to get it. Watchwoowork.com to get the book. It's been talked about over a year and a half now. So I finally decided to go ahead and drop it on my birthday.
Did you have a ghostwriter?
Hell no, this is mine.
How does that work? Quickly. How
I
does
used
the
to sit
process
up
work?
every day, every night while it was on me to do it and typed and wrote. And then I collected stuff that I had already written.
Hey y'all.
And so, and you had an editor ish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you boop boop compile it. I've seen some other books, and this ain't even I've seen some other books that like this is like a 122 page book. I've seen some other books that have been like 30 pages. And
You
stuff
got
like
big
that.
print? You're
No, like
old.
12 font.
All right.
Font, regular
You got big print. What kind of retarded stuff?
You can't say that anymore. You can't say it.
Right. Black, you got the last thing. What you got?
All
What
right,
you
so
got?
this is a question for the crew.
Okay.
Listen,
Why
a
you hiding
Oklahoma
your
woman told federal authorities she strangled a woman she shared a home with and tried to set her body on fire over a food stamp card. Is she black or white?
She white.
And where?
In Oklahoma.
Oh yeah.
She white because I know black folks in Oklahoma.
Ohio.
Well, then she in
Oklahoma.
jail. You don't know. No more.
Jessica McBride, 30 of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah. He's white.
She killed her roommate. She's white
Over her food stamp card.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna kill you on my food stamp card because you ain't got the code. How you gonna use it? I'm calling it.
There's a
another
code
one.
to the. I don't have kids, folks. I just be asking
You
questions.
gotta have children have food stamps. What did Tommy Tuberville say?
Too
You
many.
have to be black to have food stamps.
Well, he said-
Duh.
And I just proved
No.
him wrong. They got them killing each other over food stamp cards in
Mm.
Oklahoma.
I ain't gonna kill you, but I'm gonna throw all your groceries away, and then when I get my new code, I'm gonna buy a refrigerator and put it in my room.
Are there
Put a
different
lock
amounts
on
that
it.
you get?
Are there what?
Are there different amounts that people get? Is
Ab-
it-
Yes,
absolutely.
it's set based on your income and
And
how
your
many
family
people are in your
size.
household.
so,
The state of
Yeah.
Alabama just gave massive increases as well.
I mean, I used to. Well, never mind. College was a wild time.
Them t-shirts and stuff.
Oh, my
No,
goodness.
I'm on the other side of the law these days.
Oh, my
Marino's
goodness.
got 5-pound peg of chicken wings for $9.99. Just public
That's what
service
you got
announcement. Throwing it
tonight.
out there. Absolutely.
Okay, so I go to Marino's tomorrow. All right, you've
that a
been
good grocery store?
entertained.
I mean,
Right
no,
up.
not really. It stink. But
The new
Oh.
one.
You've
They
been
done better.
entertained.
I
You've
went
been
in there, it's like-
educated. You have been made aware and exposed to candidate for Senate, for U.S. Senator
Vote for Will
Senate
Boyd.
Will Boyd. You've learned about what else we talked about? We talked about a lot.
Normal is boring.
And we are
Absolutely.
not normal on here.
Cornell Wesley brought
Jeezy
Jeezy
to
to
the
Birmingham.
city.
Okay.
All right, good night. The
And he
book
put
comes
on for
out
the city.
tomorrow. I'm putting on for. Oh,
Mayor Whitman said in the crowd with the folks, cuz.
he sure did. I saw a video.
Yeah, it'll hit and rapped every line. Man, Birmingham got a mayor named Rounder, cuz.
get the book tomorrow. Fun Girls Don't Have Feelings. Watchwoowork.com. Y'all have a good night. Be vital.
Bye.
Cook bologna sauce. I know they good for them.